Is that what you were doing? Here, well, besides just giving us the clap, why don't you...
Hello.
Yes, put on your headphones. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish with Peter Feliciano. Our guest tonight is the sweet, sweet boy Jacob. Or shall I say Jake?
I've been called worse things.
That's true.
You can call me Jake, Jacob.
Can you hear yourself okay?
I can hear myself okay, yeah.
Okay. Keep talking.
I could take the volume up one click.
How's that?
That's good.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah.
First things first.
I love all...
What?
I love all my niggas. First things first.
Attaboy. No, wow, I was gonna say, what do you call a kid with no friends?
Peter?
No, a Sandy Hook survivor.
That's fire.
What's the? Why couldn't Helen Keller drive? Because she was a woman. What's the difference between a black man and a pizza? A pizza can actually feed a family of 4.
I knew that was coming because that's a universal joke.
That's an old one, right? I was told that one.
What's the difference between a musician and a large pizza?
Is that what that is?
That's
man.
That's a catch-all joke. You can use that for.
All right. Well, what's the difference between a Jew and a pizza? Pizza doesn't scream when you throw it in the oven.
I was going to say one's delicious after 450 degrees.
Oh, no. That's so sad. Anyway, this is the second episode of Conservatish. The first one was great. We had Sheldon on, and now it's your sweet face. We're not going to share your last name. We've decided, right? You decided?
Yeah. No, Jake's
okay.
Fine. If you know me, you know who I am.
Yeah. But if anything, at any point, you want me to cut out, because it breaks too much of the fourth wall of what Jake is, you just let me know. Here.
Yeah,
Take some...
Because I don't want to be thinking about it.
Right.
I'll just, just to keep it cool. Just in case.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just handed him
this
a
is
piece of
sound
paper.
Great on the recording.
Right. Yeah, it's looking like we're good to go.
Cool.
Well, first things first, obviously, you and I have known each other probably since 2006, I want to say, maybe.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
6.
I want to say 2006.
6.
Yeah.
It was 6.
And, we have a bunch of mutual friends. But mostly I wanted to first ask you, because obviously part of the reason why I had you on is not just because we're good friends. Is that long enough for you?
Don't.
That's very elaborate, the way you put that thing behind you.
I'm a little weird about things.
I know you're weird about a lot of things.
I just want to make sure, I want to make sure I'm not going to, yank it, but I want it here.
Okay.
Like this.
Do you understand that sounded dirty, right? Do not do that with your headphones.
What about...
You look like Geordie LaForge. Do you know who Geordie LaForge is?
Hello, Philadelphia!
What is that?
I don't know. I was acting like I was a radio DJ in Philly.
Private eyes, they're watching you. All right. I wanted to have you on partially also because, not just because we're good friends, but also because you're not the most liberal person I know. And you're a bit of a conundrum, I would say. But you're also... Conservative, sure, but also, it can get off into some crazy areas. With you, not to aliens necessarily, but on the way. I think I've even probably heard you talk about aliens before. The possibility, therefore.
I see. This is how much of an asshole I am with things I really believe in. I have literally had a UFO experience, not like a
really.
What do you call them? An abduction or whatever? No, not an abduction.
And you weren't high at the time.
I was not
okay.
high at the time. At the time, I was not high. I was very sober at that moment. And
had you gotten sober already or not yet?
No, not yet. I still don't believe I don't believe they're aliens.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So, but you had an experience.
I had an experience.
Okay.
And I do not believe they're aliens.
Okay.
I'm 100% convinced they're not aliens. Actually.
I see. So UFO, you mean you had a UFO experience, but that could have been a government
I don't know.
object or something.
My theory is stuff like that is not from this dimension. They're not from another planet. They're not from another galaxy. Period. And that's not what this show's about.
See, how did we already get into dimensional?
Exactly.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, question. Because I remember you. What year did you start playing in punk bands?
2000. In the year 2000.
Nice.
I think it was 2000 or 99.
Okay, so you're about 13? 12,
Yeah,
13?
yeah.
Jesus. How did that look? How did that start?
Bad.
Well, yeah, obviously it looked bad. I mean, like, what did it mean? Like, did you start playing, like, out at that age, or were you just in the garage at that point?
We had like 2 gigs somewhere, and I forget if it was southern Colorado or northern New Mexico.
You were living out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first little punk band deal I was in. Yeah, we'd play out a bit. Yeah.
Any originals? Because
Yeah.
at 12, 13?
Yeah, all originals.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe we did a cover here and there, but
Okay.
I
What
don't
were you
re- I don't
listening to at
remember.
that point?
there was a lot of stuff. Okay. So, at that point it was a lot of like it was a big mishmash of stuff.
A mishmash.
It was a mishmash of stuff. Like,
Would you
really,
say it was a monster mishmash?
It was a monster mishmash. It was a mix of like hardcore underground gutter punk kind of stuff, right?
What's like an example?
Crass, like Ausrotten, like all that kind of stuff, and then also, but we would absolutely 100% go hard and drive around and crank like AFI really loud too.
What is that noise?
There's some not feedback, but there's
I think it's my computer.
Is it the fans running?
Might
It's
be.
a hot mic if it's the fans running. Check it. Yeah, it's the fans.
All right. Well, I guess it's a
You
hot
you
mic.
can close certain tabs that will
You can close certain tabs.
stop your... I do close tabs. I keep my tabs
Sturdy.
extremely organized.
I'm going to close that tab. I'm going to close that tab. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
What were we listening? I was like downloading stuff on
So-
Napster at the time because I was in a town of.
Did you-
Dude, I was downloading stuff on Napster. I was in a town. There's stuff I can't even get anymore. I mean, like I can't get a tape of it, whatever. But I
Right.
got it on Napster, and I don't got a copy of it anymore.
And it's your stuff.
No,
Oh, okay, I
just
thought you were
bands,
saying.
just random bands, man. Stuff
Yeah,
would
because
be on
there's
Napster.
stuff that's small enough that people it doesn't even exist, really.
No, and there was this tape, speaking of that a friend of mine in San Jose grabbed from me. I don't even remember the name of the band exactly, but I had a tape, and it was a dang good recording, okay? Cassette. Really, really good recording.
It was clean. It was tight.
It was tight. It's kind of like if you're recording specifically for vinyl, those kind of setups. Well, they were
Not really,
recording
but okay.
specifically for cassette, like 4-track, right?
Okay.
But it sounded great, and this band, it was great. It was like 12 songs of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
and I never found him again. And my buddy got the tape, and he said he was going to put it on CDs, and I never, whatever. Stuff happens.
What?
So much lost music when you're talking about the really underground stuff. It's just gone from back in the day. Now everything's like digital. It's like, no, it's on Bandcamp or whatever. Like, what tape? Just go to my website.
Do you remember the name of your first band?
The name of my first band, I think the first name of my first band was Middle Class.
Okay.
And it wasn't a name I came up with. That
Okay.
was my buddy Matt.
You play guitar or bass or?
I played guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sang?
I
If
did
you
some
can call it
backup
that.
vocals.
Okay, backup.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha. What about now? That wasn't your main thing, though. That wasn't your main band, because apparently you've been in multiple, and there was one where people even remember you.
Yes, there was one where people remember me. It was called the Snot Rags.
The snot rags.
The Snot Rag. Or
Oh,
Snot
Jake
Rags. It doesn't-
of the snot rag fame.
Jake Duke of Snot Rag.
All right, don't ever do that again. Whatever you just
That
did.
didn't come out right. You could. That's one to cut. Right
No,
there. So
I'm
write
not
it down.
fucking
You
cutting
can
that
cut
at all.
I didn't even use the
If I'm
plural.
keeping in you saying nigga, I'm keeping in everything.
Well, you could probably cut that too. You know what? You could just chop this whole thing.
Right.
Up
In fact, let's just go home. Why are we even here?
this is going to be 4 hours of talking about.
Oh,
you
God, I hope it's not. I mean,
You know when you
listen,
can't get the honey packet open at Starbucks, and
Yeah,
you're just it's
holy
the
shit.
early morning, and you're gonna kill someone, and you're like, dude, it's not
Why
all
you-
the things, it's not all the challenges in my life, it's not all the things
It's
I
not
need to
money,
overcome.
it's not no.
If this fucking honey packet. I'm gonna drive to Seattle, and I'm gonna,
Why are you drinking tea that early in the
I'm
morning?
gonna take somebody hostage. I put honey in my coffee sometimes.
You put honey in your
Not
coffee
anymore.
sometimes.
I used to be heavy on the honey. 2 honeys, 6 shots of espresso, stir it up, cut it with a little half and half, gulp, 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 see you later. You know, off to work. Time to work.
I drink about 6 shots of espresso a day, spread out. But at this point, I've built myself up to that. But I still, even though it's like the first one, it's all for effect. It's not for taste at all, the first one. At the same time, I still like want to nurse it a little bit. Like, give me like a half hour to drink it, even though it's shots. I don't want it all in, weep, done, go, Okay, so when did you become a member of the Snot Rags? And was this your idea?
I'm trying to remember here. So there's this kid Juan at a high school in California, and he was like, "Dude, I play bass," and I was already kind of jamming with.
You were 14, 13? Here, pull the mic a little closer to you.
Okay, so I feel like there's
wonderful. No, that's perfect.
I'm not used to.
Ooh, God.
Oh, baby.
All right, just put it away.
Further back.
No, I'm saying your penis. I was making it. All right, stop.
There?
All right, you're ruining everything.
Okay.
So Juan said he plays bass.
Juan said he plays bass. At first, I knew this kid Mikey. There's this other dude Andrew. I don't know what happened to Andrew.
But you know what happened to the other boys.
Yeah, mostly. And actually, we were playing with this kid. I'm trying to remember his name. His actual name was Javier, but that wasn't what anyone called him. It was this really funny nickname.
Do you remember the nickname?
I can't remember the nickname for the hell of me.
I love you very much, Jake. But you don't necessarily need to, because we are nobody. I mean, some people who listen to this are going to know who you are.
Nobody would even know who Javier is, though. But if I knew his other name, they'd be like, "Dude, that kid's sick at drums. No wonder he wasn't in your shitty band for very long."
Was his name Cornbread?
His name was not Cornbread. I almost want to say it was Bean, but it wasn't Bean either.
Was it Billy Stick? Tutu? Favor.
Destroyer of Worlds. That was his name. Now, this kid had skills, and so we were like, we want to play fast. When you want to play fast, the most valuable thing in the world, this is a tip to anyone listening out there that's young and wants to play fast and fuego music, right? You find a drummer that can hang.
Right.
You lick that. You give them hickeys. You send them Valentine's Day cards. Drummers get no love. The drummer is
I love drummers so fucking much, man. But
speaking of cheesy jokes, how do you park in the handicap spot without a tag?
What?
Just throw a set of drumsticks on the dash.
Throw a set of drumsticks. How do you park in the... I don't get it.
Wow, really?
Listen, I'm sorry.
Because they're handicapped. Because they're,
stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Whatever. Okay. Okay. So we were playing with him, and we were like, "Wow. Okay, we can play fast now." Me and Andrew at the time. Andrew
and you're
ended up
14 again. 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We were 14 that time, and so we wanted to play fast. So we were playing fast because this kid, he played in like metal bands, and he was highly skilled. He could play albums from bands where we were just like, "Dude, you're too good for this."
And Dragon Force.
And he no, that's chump shit. I mean, he was rocking out like Death and like just what was that drummer's name that was in Death that played all the really technical stuff in their last 2 albums?
I have no idea.
Orb Weaver or something. Anyway. He could play all kinds of really technical stuff. He was really skilled. He was a very good drummer. He could play whatever too, not just like metal. He was really good. And we were playing with him. He ended up going his own way because he was in 2 other bands, and he was like, "Dude, I gotta go."
But did you guys start playing out with that guy?
Not with that. Okay. We played 1 show out with that guy, 2 shows out with that guy. Mm-hmm. I forget.
Okay, but he was the inspiration to get the 3 of you together.
Yes, okay. And what it really turned into was, and it was like, he's out, okay, like Mikey's in, right, and then Mikey was like, he was getting good because like he wasn't fast enough when me and Andrew were first like writing a couple songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. He wasn't fast enough. He like just started, and like he was good, like he had skills, but he just couldn't crank out the speed, right? Mm-hmm. And then by the time Javier went his way, Mikey was freaking fast, right? And we were like, "Okay, dude, you're fast. Let's jam." And so we were jamming, and then Juan was like, let me write some songs with you guys and play. I was like, yeah, cool. And then that worked out great because he was better at bass anyway, and Andrew ended up, splitting. So I think this is the timeline of events. This is a very murky period.
Okay, well, you had better get it right, because the thousands and millions of people who are going to listen to this and also know the snot rags.
I'm literally only worried about the couple people I'm talking about. Being like, that's not how it happened.
They're not going to listen to this fucking shit.
No, they're probably not going to listen to this shit.
They're like, Pete Felicia, who's this bald motherfucker?
Anyways, and so then that was it. That was the three. And we'd always talked about getting kind of another member, but we were like, why? Like, I can cover all the guitar parts. Like, I don't need a break. I can handle it because I was, I had enhancements. And
right.
and
so were you already doing the harder shit at that point?
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mostly,
15.
Was it like
that had gotten to that had crossed 1 year over to 15 or 16, and
the methiness.
Kind of jamming. Oh yeah.
Very methy.
Yeah, very, yeah, but Juan was killer. He wrote tunes, he wrote licks and some lyrics.
Did you
and
write
vocals.
as well or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wrote. So we all kind of wrote and Mikey would be like, dude, I got this idea for this like drawn out, we're going to do like 3 beats, 3 tempos, 1 song, just because he had like this drum lick he really liked, and we were like, I was like, oh, I got lyrics for that. Let's riff or whatever. And so like that actually worked really well. Like it was pretty good. That was a good trio. We never got a good recording.
Right. And you were a punk band.
Yeah.
Punk officially.
Yeah. Thrashy. Not. If you want to be super technical about it, it probably wasn't punk. But yeah, it was more in the punk scene.
Okay.
It was at the punk shows.
So what was when was you and Juan and who was the drummer?
Mikey on drums.
So how long were you guys together?
I want to say like 2 or 3 years. It was a minute.
Wow. And so you played a bunch?
We played a bunch.
Mostly in the South Bay?
Mostly in like backyards.
Yeah, house parties and shit.
Yeah, we would have a couple like bigger shows that were still backyards. You'd be surprised the size of some houses in downtown and stuff, and like stuff would get shut down, and that part of the scene was like, you guys are kids, right? So you can't even play. Or you're kind. We're not booking these shows at whatever bar or whatever. We want the grown-ups that are going to buy beer, right, etc. And so it was just kind of a funky thing where you were just always playing odd gigs.
Okay.
Always playing odd gigs.
What's do you remember?
It was always there were always cops.
Right.
100% of the time. Without fail, there were cops. And it was usually while we were playing. It was right before we were going to set up, like it would get shut down. It was just one of those
when you were playing, like, was there? Because I remember, did you and I ever go to a Kulo Aboka show?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay, so this band Kulo Aboka, look them up. I'm not a big punk fan, but they are fucking cool, and I don't think they play anymore. But it was like a drummer, bass, guitar, and then two singers. One of this, and the band is all wearing like that kind of. I kind of look like Frankenstein makeup, you know what I mean? Like on purpose to like look like a Danzig type of, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of the singers was dressed like a luchador.
Yeah.
So he had and he's a little short Mexican kid, and wearing a luchador mask and bouncing around with spandex pants and no shirt, and he would be and he kind of sang like that. And then the other girl, look her up by the way, Kulo Aboka, and the other girl, the other singer's name is Fista No Gag Reflexa.
Oh, jeez.
And she would wear like panties and bra and heels, and that's it. And would like do high kicks and shit, and like get knocked around just like a punk show and stuff, but could hold her up. It was a really good show, and I'm not a big punk fan, but like a really good show. And they had like foul shit, a song called "Kill You and Fuck Your Girlfriend." I'm gonna kill you and fuck your girlfriend, or
it's a very like AC kind of.
What's that mean?
Vein of. I don't like cussing on recordings, Peter. Anal.
Are
cunt.
you?
Anal Cunt, the band Anal Cunt.
You're the worst. You're cussing on a podcast right now.
I
the first sentence out of your mouth, you said nigger.
That's not a cuss word in any way, shape, or form. That is 100% slang.
Homegrown.
Yeah.
So okay, so you all right, but so
you could
you could not have been you weren't straight edge. So
funny story.
oh god.
Okay, I was originally like when I very very first got into punk and stuff, and I've always got like a lot of love for the straight edge kids, right? And especially straight edge music. Like I really love straight edge music.
There is a difference.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love straight edge music.
Have you ever heard
hardcore and stuff?
Have you ever heard of Dead Fucking Serious?
I've heard of them. I haven't gotten into. I haven't.
My
friend,
friend, Sammy Warmhands. He's a rapper from Eugene, Oregon, and he's the singer guitarist of Dead Fucking Serious.
Really?
Yeah. And
they do hardcore
he talks
and straight
about
edge?
yeah. And he talks about, you know, like, because again, I'm so detached from like the punk scene. I don't even know, like, you guys like know each other because you guys have been playing music since you were fucking 13, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know, Sammy, I was doing on his podcast, Take 92. Look it up. It's a very great podcast, Take 92 podcast. But I was on his podcast, and he talked about, you know, when I first did my first album, I was, you know, 12 years ago, and I did the math. I'm like, you were fucking 20. He did his first solo album at 20. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he was with these other bands and stuff. I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
got right at it.
Yeah, you both you motherfuckers. Just like, yeah, I was lazier. I'm just doing my first full album or my first album, solo album, and I'm fucking 32.
My stuff was a mess though. Never got a good recording. I mean, and totally could have. And I've got you know access to stuff, and I never got it together. But anyway.
but what you were saying was you were supposed, or you were started out straight edge.
I started out straight edge when I was like 13. It's a lot about like a mental attitude, right?
Okay.
So even if you go I mean kind of like the core of it, like the birth of it would be East Coast old school stuff, Minor Threat. Right?
Okay.
Minor Threat was straight edge. The song you know, it's you know, don't smoke, don't drink, don't fuck, at least I can fucking think. You know,
okay.
it was,
so it's almost like a pride of like, I'm real fucking real.
Yeah, like I'm gonna feel everything real.
Right.
I'm gonna live my life completely real. I'm not gonna run away from anything.
Right.
And
no escaping.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's a very confrontational. It is. It's a very confrontational thing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
in fact, actually, that makes sense. Sam talks about. Well, I shouldn't speak for him, but I'm probably going to butcher it, and I apologize, Sam. But he talks about how he even had a song, you know, because he's a rapper, and he had this song called "Anti-Fun." He said, you know, fuck the party, y'all are boring, or you know, y'all are, you know, whatever. You know, everybody make way for the anti-fun. Like like, you know, how he's saying like, you know, yeah, pretty much that same thing. Where, I guess I kind of know his reasons why, but it wasn't like a, you know, and I won't share his reasons why necessarily. But although I would like to have him on the podcast, and at some point I will, I'm sure. But,
yeah.
You know, you know, that whole like pride thing. I mean, once you taste it though, you know what I mean? I know for me, I liked it so much, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know, I had to stop because I would not be alive, but like, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's interesting.
Straight edge kids back in the day though were such assholes. Like I loved them, but they were such assholes. They'd like go around, and if you like weren't on your point, like if you weren't on point, like Garden, you're like really like, you know, not totally drunk yet, you know, they'd test you. They'd be like looking at you, talking, joking, and then they'd like not look down, you know, and they would just like sneakily try to like smack your beer out of your hand, right?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, you had to be like,
that's
whoa,
some balls, dude.
And so
balls.
After a while, yeah, and they'd be laughing, and you know, like they're just having a grand old time fucking with the non-straight edgers, right?
Wow.
Like it was in good fun. Right. But that sounds terrible to you. the way we got down. You know, you're like, no, don't touch it, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, that was just their thing, screwing around, like knocking it down. You're hanging out under a frickin' bridge, and they're knocking a beer. You know, it's rolling down into the frickin' the weeds and shit.
Right.
You know, and so it was like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe it was a drug in and of itself to them, like the pride of,
Man, I don't think they were doing it. That wasn't even in a pride way. That was in a prankster, prankster
Just
way.
Asshole. Yeah.
But it was funny. You had to be on point. So after a while, whenever I saw the straight edge kids around, I was like, dude, I'm just chugging everything like fast.
Right.
I'd like grab it, be like womp 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 womp, and then I'd keep it in my hand empty so that they'd intentionally knock the empty one out of my hand.
Okay.
And then I'd be like, hi.
Yeah, because you're thinking like us. You're thinking like an
Yeah,
alcoholic.
I'm waiting for it.
So you saw these other people in your. I want to ask because I've seen a little bit about it recently. I can't remember why, or I've seen it recently. I don't know why, but like, okay, so there was the skinheads, and then there's the sharps, which are skinheads against racial problems, or skinheads against
racist punks.
Racist punks. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see both of those groups at your shows?
Not a lot. I mean, the skinhead scene in general is
pretty small.
I wouldn't even say small. Around here, it's like you didn't get a lot of sharps because it's like that was almost just like a phase someone went through for a minute, and they're really just punks, right? They just wanted to.
And it's more right. It's more a reaction to.
Yeah, they just wanted to listen to dance hall and wear suspenders for a minute, right?
Dance hall. What's dance hall?
Or like old ska, reggae-ish inspired kind of stuff, right?
Like A Message to You, Rubin.
Yeah, sure. The specials, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's like, hey, that's cool, dude. You don't need an excuse to do that. Like, you can keep your mohawk and listen to the specials. That's tight. That's cool. That's not a problem. But no, as far as the skinhead scene, I mean, in general, I think the only real like skinhead scene left that's like real is not very associated with like the music scene anymore, or at least I haven't seen it around much. Okay. And I haven't really been involved in the music scene anymore. Right. It's more like, the prison scene, the street scene, the political scene. It's, the whole skinhead, being a part of the punk scene thing seemed like that faded out way before my time. Okay. And that was a while ago that I was involved in a scene. Right. I think that probably faded out to my knowledge really in, that was really like a working class England kind of 80s thing in general, to be honest, and kind of spread from there. If you want to talk real skinhead music, culture, stuff like that, that's really where it spread from. And I don't think there's a lot for people to really relate to anymore for that specific thing. So it evolved into more the political realm, and it doesn't seem to be in music.
But skinhead in general was always a racist kind of vibe, a racist kind of lifestyle.
Not necessarily. It can be, but in general, it was like working class in England. It wasn't really the point. Okay. But it was a byproduct. It was a bonus. It was a bonus. It was a bonus.
Right.
I don't think that was just that was a reaction, right? So I don't think it was like, hey, we really hate these Jamaicans, or oi mate, I hate these fucking Jamaicans, these yardies.
Wait a second, you're talking England, and yet all of a sudden you came out with Australian accent.
Because I always do Australian accent. I can't do an English accent anymore.
Yeah.
I can do Scottish. I could do Irish. I can't do English. I can only do Scottish, Irish, and Australian.
It's very interesting.
I don't know what to tell you. Are you South African?
Ugh,
I know it's ugly.
Do you listen to Pogo? Did I ever show you Pogo? Pogo's the shit. I love Pogo.
So, maybe.
He's from Perth. He's a remix artist. He does hang on. Is it still recording? Yeah, it's still recording. He's a remix artist. He does stuff like he'll take snippets of what is that noise?
What the shit is that?
Is that your guts? Oh, it might be some sort.
I think it's.
I really don't like if I'm spending time with you. I don't want to feel like. Because one of the things that me and Jake's friends always joke around about Jake is that you'll hear, I don't know if you still do this, but if you're driving and you hear something regarding your car, you will sometimes get out of your car and bend down like near the front. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hearing something. And you're like, the whole day is now stopped because you're listening to your bumper.
I've gotten much better with that.
Okay. I'll have to ask Danny if that's a 100% because
I've gotten much better with that. You know what that sounded like, though? I think it was just one of these pipes here.
Yeah, it was one of the Gutty Works.
Sounded like, and I got kind of excited? It sounded like a coffee maker.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. Well,
Okay.
there's Diet Coke. Why
I
don't you,
know.
or get a Coke. There's
I
caffeine in
will,
there.
I will get a Coke eventually.
All right.
I'm running on 0 sleep.
Right.
Not 0. It's lacking, though.
Did you
A
have some
lot of work.
sex?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Then
No.
it's not worth it.
I was up super late doing stuff and working, and it was crazy. Because I injured my hand, right? So I'm trying to catch
Oh
up
yeah.
on...
Is it?
It's closed. It's closed. It's all closed.
What did
It's
you
closed
do?
Up. I threw a hatchet in it.
Okay,
Just for fun.
You threw a hatchet at it.
Oh, no. On accident.
Okay. Now,
Stuck a hatchet in my hand.
all right. What were you doing?
Trying to get kindling while I was camping. And I knew not to do it. I mean, it's one of those things where your brain goes, yeah, don't do this. You've never done this. And you've cut plenty of wood, and you've never held your hand here. You know why? Because it's stupid.
Right.
You don't do this because you're going to cut your hand.
Yeah, being a dude is fun.
Yeah.
We don't.
Just do dumb shit all the time. Yeah.
Did you ever do, like, when you were doing punk shit, did you ever do, like, it sounds like there was some pranky type of shit, but did you ever do that jackass type of shit?
A little bit. Not.
No,
I
not
can't
really.
even really remember. I mean, I think so. Maybe. I mean,
Nah, whatever.
I could take a 40 bottle to the head like a champ, though.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll tell you that. That was, I just keep playing. You know,
Right.
just
Oh,
keep
okay.
going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's one of the things. I'm sure that there were.
Those shows
like
were
in-
crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I love moshing. I fucking really like it. And that might subside when I start learning boxing and stuff, like because I want to learn that stuff, and I want to actually learn beat some ass. But like I really like moshing I mean when it's a punk show in a backyard. Is there lots of moshing in a backyard?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I got to say, I'd say probably the most, I'm not going to say like the biggest or the best, but probably the most fun, like, pits were at this place called Luna's Mufflers, where there were shows for a while. I don't know if there's still shows there or not.
Luna's Mufflers.
Luna's Mufflers, downtown San Jose. Well, kind of south downtown kind of like Tully, Keys, kind of like,
Okay.
not Tully, but further west of Tully. But yeah, man, there'd be like some huge circle pits in there. That was good stuff.
Luna's Mufflers.
Yeah,
Was it actually a muffler shop, or was it?
Yeah, it was actually a muffler shop. It was just like a big
Sorry, I'm
automotive
just gonna
place.
eat this
Yeah.
chocolate thing.
Yeah. And I'm gonna bust. Yeah, dog. I'm gonna bust this open. Actually, let's get this cookie cracking. Thank you,
Ladies
for
and
the cookies,
gentlemen,
sir.
we're eating chocolate.
Yeah. Get some. What's up? Yeah, Luna's Mufflers. There's a band called Uzi Suicide that
Based down there.
they were kind of out of San Jose, Santa Cruz, Hollister. They might still play every once in a while. I don't know.
And they would do shows at Luna's Mufflers.
I want to say they did a show with Wet Sec and
What a couple of assholes we are.
Rotten Fucks and
These are real band names.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one
they
thing I
don't-
like about punk bands too. They do, that's the name. They got it.
right.
Like what's that one? What's the Anal Cunts? Like that's just a funny name, dude. That's just a funny ass name.
So dumb though. Come on, it's so dumb. Why would you name your band that? That's just stupid. It doesn't
Well,
mean
because-
anything.
Right, because you're trying to be a punk. Like that's. I mean, I respect
know.
it. I respect it.
I mean, Snot Rags was just because it stuck. It was like a joke at first.
There are a lot of punk snot, like a booger. I mean, boogers seem to, fit into the punk world pretty well.
It was like, dude, I've got the name, Snot Rags, because I would leave like a trail of Kleenex behind me
Okay.
because I was so out of it at a span in my life. I was so out of it that I had like the same sinus infection for like 18 months. I took antibiotics, everything, because I like wouldn't sleep. I'd be like out drinking all night
Right.
and doing God knows what else.
Right.
And then supposedly going to school. And so I was like not sleeping on all kinds of stuff, half asleep. I mean, my immune system was just destroyed.
Right.
Like the most food would consist of maybe a chimichanga that would get, jimmied up at a friend's house or
Right.
Something like that, Jack in the Box, right? So yeah, I just had this horrendous sinus infection forever. I'd just be blowing this nasty crap out of my nose, and it was just always like, man, this guy with the snot rags everywhere, And
What age did you get sober?
19. I want to say, I think I was 19, 18-ish.
Right.
Actually, like for real, 19.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah, there was a little bit of pot.
There was a pause in general.
There was a pause.
There was a pause. There was a time, right?
Yeah, I never really, even just going to punk shows. Like I kind of surfed around. Like I would go because our mutual friend Teddy would go, or you would go, but like I never really got into it. I respect it from afar though. I respect, I'm wearing this old shit, and I've gelled my mohawk up into spikes. I've spent the time, like the dedication and the time to grow these things, and then spiked them. Because I used to have a mohawk, but it was pathetic, and I wouldn't put I can't remember whose line it was. But someone said it looked like an orca in captivity because I'm bald as a motherfucker, and so it would at the top my hair is very flimsy, and in the back it would be thick like a rainforest, and so when I didn't gel it up, it would curve over at the top like an orca in captivity. And so I respect
I had a huge
not
mohawk.
giving a fuck.
I had an enormous mohawk. But I wasn't real big on the work. I would throw it up for a show every once in a while,
Okay.
Or guys would be like, dude, we got to get your mohawk up. And I'd be like, dude, it's too much work. I'm busy getting, high. Yeah. They'd be like, dude, we've got to do these other things, not put the mohawk up. And it was like, nah, dude, let's get the mohawk up. It'll just take a minute. So you get the, Elmer's Blue Glue or whatever was around.
Oh, really? Glue?
Glue.
Not even fucking gel? Like just straight up glue?
Some gel works, but I found a mix of Elmer's Blue Glue, the hairdryer, and some Aquanet.
Oh, what an
That shit got
asshole.
it cracking. So like you kind of got the form going at first with some Aquanet, kind of got it in the right, sort of position at the base, and then you'd start hitting it in sections with the blue glue and just blow drying that shit, and then spray a bunch of Aquanet over. That Aquanet would kind of like melt the blue glue a little bit,
What in the fuck is that's just insane, man.
Oh yeah.
God bless you, because that's just. Now during this whole
going
time,
pretty quick with help. If there was like a friend, I was like, dude, let's get your hogger. Like,
that's a very loose definition of a friend, but okay.
I know.
Now,
Anybody that'll stick their hand on that nasty ass head, that is a friend. Indeed.
Did you? So during all this time, did you also? Because obviously, you said something about. It's completely just. You said that you don't like cussing. Are you serious about that, or were you just fucking around?
Kind of serious. There's no need to just cuss all over recordings. I mean, I'm still cussing. I don't.
Did you have this belief back in the day as well?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. So
I'm not saying I'm going to be a saint. I've already cussed probably. I mean, I'm not keeping track. I'm just trying to make a focus.
Your first sentence said nigger. That's what I'm saying. I'm reiterating the fact.
Is nigga a cuss word?
Yes, it is.
Really?
What do you mean, really?
I'm out of touch, dude.
Even if you're black, that's a cuss word. You can't say that shit on ABC.
No. Not
Fucking
on ABC.
Blackish.
Come on. On ABC. Oh, jeez.
It's all right, kids. I'm half Puerto Rican, and I think apparently 3/16 black. So you're allowed. I'm allowed to say it, and I
was
officially
referencing a song.
You're at a touch. I'm at a time.
How's that for referencing us? Yeah, that's very fitting.
Apparently, Hall & Oates is going to be playing in Oakland soon. Ooh. I mean, I would go if it was down the street and I was free and someone else bought it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't respect Hall & Oates. I'm just saying I'm not going to pay.
You're not going to take
I'm not
time
gonna pay
out of a week.
$50. No.
Yeah,
no.
I understand.
So, okay, so
we were going somewhere with this.
Well, I was
What were we
thinking.
talking
All right,
about?
I was thinking about
I had
why.
to cut the mohawk because I started finding weird bugs in it that were like in my scalp, right? And then, and also it was a cop magnet. Okay, when you have a huge mohawk that's like half bleached and it's like a foot or 18 inches high or whatever, and it's like half brown, like tops bleached, like like that is a cop magnet.
Right.
and I was trying to sell drugs.
Yeah, you
And
can't be a cop magnet and sell drugs.
It
at
had
the
to
same
go.
time.
Yeah, like all the patches went, like all the stuff. I mean, it still looked very punky, but it was less eye grabbing. I went for the less eye grabbing outfits. Yeah, it was a little more low key.
Were you? Because I know you believe in God now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. But during this time, were you as well? Because you were raised that way, right?
I always believed in God. But that was certainly not my 100% focus at that time.
No, fuck no.
I was on some completely different trains of thought. That wasn't where my heart was at all at that time. Yeah.
Was it weird to be in that scene? And I mean, once you push it out of your mind, you can't. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's not like it comes up a lot,
No, it didn't come up a lot. Actually, you'd be surprised. It came up every once in a while. Yeah. No, but I don't think it was weird. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think it was weird being in that scene. And so I think, I mean, people don't want to face stuff, or they're going through a thing, or they've made a decision on what their relationship with God's going to be like, which is mostly in absentia, right?
Right.
But I'm pretty sure 100% of the people on the planet, in their heart of hearts, know that there is a God of some sort.
Okay, what does that? Okay, so elaborate on. I mean, so like as an example, you're saying all people know somewhere in their gut there's something.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's no like, oh well, I haven't heard about it. It's like that's not what I mean.
Yeah, like even I've known people who were raised straight up atheist, and even then, like
they're like,
there's something. Yeah,
they're like agnostic to be rebellious. I don't know, Dad. What if there is a God?
Right, exactly.
You can't disprove it.
Right. I don't know.
I'm going to church.
I rarely
dare
meet people.
You go to church.
I rarely meet people who are straight up, atheist. Usually, they don't like the Christian God, or I think it's just mostly it's based on just anger. Which to me, if you live that way and outwardly are like that, and we all have anger issues. We all are shitty, humans. But like if you have that constantly, I feel like I kind of see you like kind of like an angry kid. You know what I mean? Like a petulant. Like
petulant.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Your mohawk showing.
What's up with this gum though?
You can have some.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't taste very good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever try Airhead's gum, it's gross.
Which one did you try that wasn't good?
I think the blue one.
I'm going to try the other one.
All right.
This is watermelon. Oh, dude. I love watermelon candies.
But it has some in a watermelon.
At the 7-Eleven, talking shit on my phone.
Let's talk about that for a minute. We might get back to God. But you and I met, and we started hanging out in San Jose during the hyphy movement. You do not need a giant fucking knife to open a fucking pack of Airhead's gum.
This is not a giant knife. This is a normal knife.
Motherfucker, all right. You don't need a knife at all. You just wanted to say, look, everybody.
No, this isn't on camera.
Use your teeth.
No, my left hand hurts, so grabbing and
use
pulling on
those creepy
things.
chompers you've got in your fucking grill.
I wish I used to have a really nice calcium mark on my teeth, and then I tried getting it fixed, and then it looked even worse. I should have kept my calcium mark and my chipped tooth, because I was drunk one day, and I literally ran into a pole, and I chipped my tooth. I forget if I was skating or what was going on, but I chipped my tooth.
You and I met 2006. Yeah. We started hanging out. Yeah. And it was during, obviously we're both sober, whatever, but like it was during the time that the hyphy movement was happening. Yeah. And we would go to, what was that In-N-Out that we went to? There was a car show happening in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, by Eastridge, yeah.
Is that by Eastridge? There was In-N-Out parking lot. And it was, the truck lowered all the way down to the asphalt. Mm-hmm. And motherfuckers are just trying to show off. Look at my fucking truck. Look at my car. Listen to my sound system.
Doing donuts and figure eights and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that album, not all of it. A lot of it is dog shit. But
that was that
same night.
We saw some weird stuff.
That was the same night?
That was the same night.
That could not have been. Seth was with us?
That was the same night.
Seth, ladies and gentlemen, is a friend of ours, a mutual friend, who is so gay it's offensive. Like, he's so homosexual where even other gays are like, you need to calm down. Like, he just takes people aback.
He might be one of our only friends that genuinely wants to be nice on the inside too. Maybe. You can tell.
Do we know the same man?
No.
What in the fuck? I love
tell.
Seth with
You
all
can
my
tell
heart.
he
He's
doesn't
not
want
wanting.
He doesn't want to be shit. He's like he's so well. Like,
He is a sweetheart, and we love him.
He's a sweet. That's what I mean. He's actually a sweetheart. It doesn't always come out like that, but
I think it's there's a thick layer of raucous cunt until you get to the
of course
just bubbling at the surface. Okay, but anyway, so that whole album, I think there's Block Report Card, or what is it? My Get a Report Card. That album's fucking cool, man. I can't not listen to like pieces of that taping. I can't listen to
from Vallejo out of Richmond, holla. Yeah.
I still can't. I can't listen to fucking Musclecore without. It just makes me feel good, man. E40, and he's not very good rapper, but I just like him. Yeah, dude. I fucking love that shit. Anyway. But that was a good time. So if you're not from like, there's still something, even though I wasn't riding motherfucking donuts at all. But like, I think I was 20. You must have been 20 as well.
20, 21.
Oh yeah, that is. Oh my God. I was 11. Dude, Jesus Christ.
We're old.
Why is that just hitting me now on a podcast that I like live that I even said it just now. When did you get sober? 19? I thought like you
longer than that for you.
God, dude. Yeah, no, I was 15. But like, holy shit, dude, that is fucking crazy. I was 20 years old. You were 19.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a couple of assholes. And Seth was already 57.
I thought 53.
All right, that's true. He's a very old, very gay man.
He hadn't hit menopause yet.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right. Because I remember that was one time he left a bloody stain on your seat. And you had this fucking Honda Civic, this 06, I think, 05 Honda Civic.
Constantly changing something with the stereo.
Yeah, there was always he was changing something with the
stereo.
There's always
something wrong.
You,
there was
at
never,
one point,
battery.
At one point, you took out the back seats.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were going to be putting in, like, real-ass speakers.
I was going to go hard, yeah.
How long? I think you went a year without back seats.
Yeah, I would do it in like little chunks. I was like, why am I going to put the seats in when I'm just going to take them out again to work on it again? So
because there would be people who got in your car.
Tough shit. It was a great excuse because I'd be like, oh, I don't have back seats, so I only have like one person
who was
to drive
driving?
around.
I feel like I was driving when that happened. When we happened upon fucking hogtie. You were?
I was driving because I specifically remember I had to drive in reverse.
Right, okay. So we're all driving. Seth and I and Jake are in the car, deep into 2006.
It was a beautiful moonlit night.
It was a creepily beautiful night.
Because I had to pull over and listen to something.
Well, I remember what we were doing. We were a couple of, ne'er-do-wells. We go and probably got some In-N-Out and then drove up into the mountains.
Watched dudes do donuts in the parking lot.
Right, in South San Jose.
Deep
which
South
kind of
San
fucking
Jose.
felt like, at what point did we already hit Morgan Hill?
No.
Because that's like Monterey Road and then all the way east, right?
Yeah, no, we were off San Felipe. We were like way, way back east, Evergreen, kind of like, yeah.
Right, behind Evergreen College.
Way back there, yeah.
Yeah. So we're in there. It's probably midnight around about, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So we're about midnight. We're driving around, and I can't remember what we were listening to, but I remember at a certain point we stopped to pee, and we're all staring up at the moon and how pretty it is.
It was such a beautiful night.
And we're urinating. And then we get back in the car, and we drive for...
Pee glistening.
Like 30 seconds. We drive, because we stopped to piss, like fucking a minute or two tops before we happened upon this issue. And it's, again, in this whole area, it's completely dark. There are no street lights. It's mountain road.
Pitch black.
Well, besides the pretty moon and all that shit. So we get in the car, we drive for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and all of a sudden we come around the corner, and I remember exactly the timeline.
Can we have an argument before you finish about how long it took
to
get there? Because I wanted to say it was probably more around 5.
No.
If we could just do like 5 minutes wasting time arguing
I
about
think-
whether it was 1 minute or 5 minutes, I think it'd be fitting.
My memory of
No,
11 years ago.
We listened to these 2 songs, and that 2 songs that has to take at least 5 minutes. I'm just kidding.
I think we have enough. We have enough.
So, anyways,
stupid
continue.
shit.
There was a guy about to get, something was going to happen.
So we come around this corner, and we see headlights, and I think it was a van, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 1 or 2 cars, and there was a kid, or probably like early 20s, on his stomach, hog-tied in the middle of the road with a bunch of dudes standing around him, and we're like, we happen upon this, and you stop the car, and we're like, oh shit, and then you put it in reverse, and we get the fuck out of there because something. And what I remember is that the guys, the look on his face,
stared at us. The guys hog-tying him were just staring at us like, oh, what's going on? Like, where are these guys? Like,
and I remember the face on the hog-tied guy.
He looked so at peace. He was just like,
right. He didn't look like, holy shit, please help me. He looked like, this is supposed to happen.
He was expecting this.
He did something bad.
He expected
something went wrong, and he was like, this is probably what's going to happen. Like, oh my fucking God. And we just booked it the fuck out of there. And I think we called 911 when we got cell reception.
I insisted we didn't.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Okay, so there's dudes hog-tying a guy for something. You think they're not going to hog-tie you?
Yeah, but how would they find me?
What color Civic? What, come on,
that's
man.
legit.
Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, so I
was very like, I know it's the right thing to do, but that's not what I don't know.
You were still pretty new though. Like you were still not sober very long, and we were you had a lot. You still don't necessarily have very much love for law enforcement, do you?
They're fine. I mean, I have a complicated perception of them.
Right.
Where, like, I don't think them as an organism is my friend or there to really keep anybody safe, but I respect them as individuals and what they do.
Right.
It's a necessary thing.
What do you feel about armed services? Same way?
I think they're really mostly either good people or desperate people or people who need a change. But overall, they're trying to do a very good thing.
Right.
And the things they go and do are not of their own order.
Right.
So I think they sign up to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. And,
sometimes they do that, and sometimes maybe, if you point them in the wrong direction.
Just them existing, honestly, in that position and role and having that dedication and
is respectable is what
just them being available does help protect us. So it's like your time, your position, your training, your willingness, that's all huge, right? Mm-hmm. But in general, it's like, what do we end up protecting? Like poppy fields, pharmaceutical companies' profits. Like we end up protecting a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with Americans' lives and freedom.
Yeah. All right.
We protect oil pipelines. We protect, like we protect a lot of stuff that's not.
But I would say, I don't know about the poppy thing, but I would say the oil feed that does protect us. We need fucking oil. Like it's not just the company's dividends.
No,
we do technically need that. Shit would go very badly if we all of a sudden we're like,
no doubt.
I need a Prius like now.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I'm definitely not saying that, but it's a little deeper than that, right? It's like, okay, well, if Russia and Iran were selling the oil and had a larger cut of the supply, I mean, the price would really go down, right? Mm-hmm. So we'd have like more oil if they could have their pipeline, right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
But what would that do? Neither of them run on the U.S. dollar. Neither of them use the petrodollar.
Right.
So what would that do to the circulation of money in regards to oil and OPEC and all this other stuff, right?
Sure.
So it goes like a lot deeper than that, right? It's like, okay, of course there's oil. There's freaking oil in Anwar, Alaska. We could go drill it all right now and never touch anyone else's oil, right? So it mostly has to do with currency.
I would prefer that.
Controlling oil and who it comes from mostly has to do with controlling currency and currency value. And controlling and a consistent use of a banking system.
Repeat that. What the hell did you just say?
It mostly has to do with so it's called the petrodollar for a reason. Within OPEC, the only way that oil is supposed to be bought and sold at like the top level, right, is with U.S. dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? Okay. All
So
right.
it is the
That makes
currency
sense.
of oil. So if you got a bunch of people pushing and selling oil,
I thought we were on the gold standard.
no,
Or silver.
we haven't been
Was
on
it
the
silver, gold?
No.
It's okay. All
No,
right.
we're on the nuclear standard. We're on.
What the hell does that mean? See, this is well, finally we're starting to get into a
Okay.
into the
Oh,
namesakes.
where are we going? How should
the
we? How should we,
podcast
should we finish
namesake.
the hogtie thing? Or
Yeah,
what
let's finish the hog.
That was pretty much it. We saw
Yeah.
you getting hogtied.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we?" And you were like, Seth was like, "What's happening here? Oh my god!"
I don't remember him saying that.
And
I
then-
might have blocked it out because it
No,
was so
he
gay.
didn't say it like that, but he was just
okay.
like, "Oh shit," and I was like, and you were like, and I was like, "Yep, we're leaving." Like,
I don't remember you being the hero in that.
I
But
was
okay,
not the
I
hero.
will-
I was not the hero. All I did was drive in reverse. There was nowhere to
That's
turn
true.
around. I had to drive in reverse for a while until there was a little like turnout, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even want to trust turning around. I didn't want to wait the fucking
I know
the
that's-
lag
you were
time.
like,
of
no, don't
10
turn around. I was
seconds.
like, dude, it's gonna be
Just fucking
faster to turn
go.
around and drive straight.
Fuck this shit. Holy shit. Fuck
Not driving
that.
in reverse for 2 miles. You're
God
crazy,
damn it.
man.
That was a weird night.
It was a weird night.
But
a weird night.
but we had experiences like that all over the. I mean, those are still really romantic. Those nights to me. You know what I mean? I still love. And honestly, South San Jose. I know you're more of an East Side guy, but like South San Jose will always be really special in my heart for some fucking reason. Like I've lived in Belmont. I've lived in Redwood City. I've lived in Portland. I love Portland to death. I've lived in San Francisco and Chinatown. I've lived in fucking Pacifica. I lived a bunch of different places. But South San Jose, like whenever I'm ready to like start like dying, I think South San Jose for some fucking stupid reason
Just some
has
vibe,
like
huh?
yeah, that whole Oak Ridge area, that Blossom Hill area. I fucking adore that stupid area
know,
for
right?
some
Santa
fucking
Teresa,
reason. Why?
Calero.
Why is that special to me?
I
It's
don't
not because
know.
of fucking those times were so great, because they were all right, but like there's just something about the
Kinda
way
rough
it
times.
looks.
They were kind of rough
They were
times.
kinda rough
too.
times,
But it was kind of a
yeah.
romantic time of life, not necessarily what was happening
Touche.
at the time.
Touche.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of. I mean, I was still living with my parents at that time. 20 years old. So
No, you
I
were renting a room from some Mexican lady.
no, that was later. That was 2007. I think when we started, I was living with my parents when we
Really?
started hanging out. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
and then I moved in with
We would hang out that
Marissa.
24-hour
Great gal.
Starbucks.
wait, that's north. That's like Santa Clara.
No, right there at Santa Teresa.
Santa Teresa.
Right next to the Lucky's. Yeah, there is this little shopping center not far from where you're living.
Where the fuck is
It was
that?
a little hole in the wall, okay? Santa Teresa and Blossom Hill. It's like in
Right.
the little cuddy in
No,
the
no, no.
shopping center
Snell.
there.
Was it Snell?
Not that one though. There is one there, right? Right? You're like you can name any street. It's like yes, there's a Starbucks there, but that's not the Starbucks I'm talking about.
It wasn't the Starbucks at Almaden Expressway because I used to
No,
work
it
at
was
the
right,
Costco. there.
literally on Blossom Hill in Santa Teresa, like kitty corner diagonal across from Oak Ridge, across the street from the In-N-Out,
Okay, so there's the Oak Ridge.
across the street from the In-N-Out.
Okay, all right, I know where you're talking
little
about.
tiny
I remember
Starbucks,
that.
right?
I remember that, and we would
Right.
always talk about who we were fucking or trying to fuck. More often, who we were trying to fuck.
It was mostly pathetic.
Yeah.
And then we'd look for prospects there that were
Right.
maybe dumb enough or
Yeah,
desperate enough. or had-
go ask that girl out.
Like
I remember you-
Where's my self-esteem sensor? Can I find one with
Exactly.
really low
And
self-esteem
I
that
really,
still looks good?
I still remember how fucking how
Wow,
much
you
of
look,
a.
you look great. Your self-esteem's way down. You're actually like me complimenting you. Okay.
I still remember you being, and there's something commendable about it. I remember you being really prickish in asking women out. Here's what I mean by pricking. Like a girl would say, "I have a boyfriend," and you and I would talk about this. So, you're not married. Like you would literally, when a girl said, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," which is,
It was
by the
almost-
way,
it was almost just to
always
bother
better
them.
to even if you're lying, it's better. Thank you, girls. If you're saying that you have a boyfriend even though you don't, thank you. Just say that instead of like, yes, yeah, and then give me your number and then not actually be
exactly.
your number.
It's usually the wrong number.
All right. But you would push. Why would you do that?
I think it was mostly just to make them uncomfortable at that point, because they had
To
already
punish them for rejecting you?
They had already made me uncomfortable, so I was like, okay. I mean,
come
like,
on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we were pretty shitty. But that mall is great too. Oak Ridge Mall. Shitty ass PF Chang's.
No, it's not.
Shitty
Dude,
ass.
it is
I
not
love
great.
Oak Ridge Mall.
It is horrible.
You're not an Eastridge fan, are you?
No, I hate Eastridge.
Yeah, Eastridge is worse. Eastridge is like Southland Mall. Southland Mall, fuck. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I've established this yet on this podcast. I do not like the East Bay. And that may be one of the more controversial things that I say. There are a couple of people who are listening who love the East Bay. I have family members.
Dude,
three of my brothers.
You could probably say just about whatever, but you need to be very careful with the next words that come out of your mouth.
Fuck
Oakland.
The East Bay.
Right, yeah.
Fuck Oakland. Fuck Berkeley. Fuck Fremont. Fuck Hayward. Fuck Union City. Fuck all that shit for different reasons. I just do not fucking like you. I do not like you, and especially I don't like you because of how much you want me to like me.
Yeah,
You.
Yep,
when you say Oakland's such a melting pot, motherfucker, it's 2018. Everywhere's a melting pot. Number one. Number two. It is dangerous as fuck in Oakland, and in Berkeley, it's not as dangerous. But no man has balls in Berkeley. You have to have them surgically removed.
The ones that do are crazy.
The ones that no. Here's what it is.
Dude,
you are allowed to be a masculine man in Berkeley if you are black. If you are not black, you are not allowed to have testicles. Or if you're a lesbian. You're allowed to have balls if you're a lesbian.
You're still not allowed to have testicles if you're a lesbian.
That's true. But
then you can't call them a lesbian. You have to call them something else.
Everywhere south of Oakland and Berkeley is just a wasteland. I know I have my brothers. I love you all very much. I was jamming with my brothers last night, music and stuff, and I love them. But
I'm going to agree 100%.
No.
Fuck the East Bay.
Thank you.
100%. People are always like, oh, come meet us. We're doing this thing in Oakland. And come meet us at the whatever. No. I'm like, oh, I'm really busy.
Make sure you bust out your own windows before you come to Oakland because you will lose them.
Yeah, Oakland, man. Been to some shows in Oakland.
I'm actually going to go see the Punch Brothers. You ever do you ever listen to bluegrass or like nouveau kind of?
No, I gotta be honest. My time the last few years has not been like I still listen to random stuff or new stuff I haven't heard that I come into, but I haven't been on like a music quest lately. Right. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So it's hard.
Well, you're much more of a business boy. You've got that business boy.
Got that thing. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life. Yeah, where it's just like chasing music down hasn't been one of them. It's kind of like the music comes to me. And
what were we listening to? Is that AFI that we were listening to a few months ago? We were in your car.
Where at?
I think it was my birthday.
Yeah. It was your birthday. No, I don't think we were listening to AFI. Which? I mean, we were only listening to like one thing weird, for a couple songs,
shit.
right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It was Misfits. That was the Misfits.
No,
yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
See, that's how disconnect. I don't even.
Unless
know.
I put something else.
I've never listened to any.
I think we were listening to the
Misfits or
and we were talking with Misfits gently
serenading
in the
us.
It wasn't Misfits with Danzig though. It was the Famous Monsters album, the first album after Danzig. I really liked that album. Everybody, only the fucking Danzig miss. I'm like, dude, Famous Monsters is a great album. Just shut your fucking mouth. Just shut up. It was a great album. Okay. It was awesome.
So we're expressing all kinds of
opinions right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I like Danzig. I'm glad that he punches fans in the face. Fans are assholes. It's cool. Get in a fight with a fan. I don't care.
I don't like his music very much, and some of his politics are just insufferable. But Henry Rollins, I like that you punch fans. Like that's fun. If fans are going to be assholes, punch them. Oh, you know what? That goes back to that idea.
Isn't this funny just how gay punk has gotten though?
What do you mean?
Like when you're talking about like a lot of his politics are insufferable, etc. Yeah, it's like Rollins. It's like, dude, you used to be hardcore, man. Like you used to have to eat.
People are allowed to change. I
used to eat frickin' dog food and Wonder Bread to survive on tour with Black Flag.
Really?
In a band. Like you were about it. Did you give a fuck about like the gender equality struggle when you were like
not.
when you were touring? Then fuck no, you didn't.
Right.
Come on, Henry, shut up.
Okay. To be fair, I think you're allowed to change as a person.
You are.
I think just because you have values.
It's just funny that you take something and it's like, dude, like Really? Like that's the most that you've seen so much of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen so much of specifically this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the little back roads, all the little dead end alleys, right?
He's seen it everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's traveled lots of places.
Yeah, and it's like that's the most that's your cause, you know.
Well,
I'm not saying that even is, but
right.
something like that. You
Right.
know, it's just
I don't. Here's okay. So like as an
it's
example,
ridiculous.
have you been to 924 Gilman?
Not no.
Long time. Okay. So I don't know how it was before. I've performed there a bunch. Really good people, nice people. It is all ages, so you got to be careful when you're wanting to ask girls out. But outside of that, 924 Gilman is a punk club. I think Green Day kind of started there. It's in Berkeley, I think, officially.
Yeah.
Nice people now kind of run it. I know a couple of the guys. I think his name's Nick Smith, I want to say his last name is. Anyway, he's a really talented fucking people, good people, nice, kind, warm people. But on the front, as you enter, there's just, kind of spray painted like no racism, no homophobia, no trans, whatever. And it's like a list of like, okay, all right. And no stage diving too.
Okay, Dad. God. Sorry, all
but
love the gays, Dad. I'm sorry.
But here's what I mean. It's like the
gays.
list just is gonna continue to get larger and larger and larger because I don't know if I've talked about this.
I'm sorry, but dude, if you just rewind the clock, such a short period of time. If you rewind the clock like 15 years in the punk scene, which is one of the most extreme of political scenes on all spectrums, right? If you just rewind the clock 15 years, 20 years, anybody who would have been seen spray painting that, you would have had like a crew fight over that. Or somebody would have been like, oh, their crew's all into whatever, this type of music, or they're vegans or something, or they're all into the hyper left-wing stuff. We're into the crusty, we're drunk, and we're going to fight you because you're spray painting gay shit at the club crew. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, hey, fag, why are you spray painting that shit?
Well, here's the thing. So here's the list.
Now it's like, oh no.
I looked it up online.
God.
It says, no alcohol, no drugs, no violence, no stage diving, no dogs, no fucked up behavior, no racism, no misogyny / sexism. First things first, why you have to even, whatever. No homophobia, no transphobia. I feel like this is an outdated list because I feel like it's a lot longer. Like it might include no body shaming at this point.
You have to kiss the fat girls.
You have to.
If a fat girl is hitting on you,
maybe I should go back to those women who have rejected me over the years and just say like, now you need to fuck me because
this is in vogue.
This is fat shaming if you don't let me fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, but what I don't like is that the list gets longer and longer. Number one, and number two, I get it, but it's kind of like a.
But we don't want to live by your rules, man.
No, here's what it is. I feel like those are kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? Like those are automatic. You know what I mean? Hey, no racism. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Like, thanks for saying that because I was gonna get ready and beat somebody's. Like,
just signaling.
You're just signaling.
You're just
like,
signaling.
We get it. Like, if somebody, whether it's okay, so check it out. If you yell at somebody, hey, your fucking haircut's shitty. Man, I fucking hate your haircut. And, like, you won't leave this motherfucker alone? Are you going to be exited out of the club? Yes. So if you do that, hey, you fucking nigger, what the fuck you do? You're still going to be exited out of the fucking club. Treat people nicely. You don't have to, like, have a list. Oh, no misogyny and no this and no that. Like, you're just signaling to those groups. Like, we get it, Papa. Like, you mean well.
Exactly.
But we all mean well. I don't think most people are racist. I do not think that's true.
Here's the thing.
I think most people are good.
They could literally just have a sign that says, don't be an asshole.
Right. No stage diving.
Use your own interpretation. Our bouncers will escort you if you're causing conflict with other people at the club. It's not
right.
It doesn't even have to be one thing or the other. And here's the thing. So back in the day, you wouldn't have. I know back in the day, like I'm old, right?
Right.
I'm getting there, but not yet. Okay,
not the way we act.
In another 10 or 15 years, I can say back in the day, and it'll be for real, right?
Right.
But back in the day, you wouldn't have ever needed that list.
Right.
Because there's already an understanding of like the kind of different.
Treat people nicely. Don't be an asshole.
Well, there was that. There was also, why would I be at that show? Or you just knew, like, these two bands don't play with each other. They have different audiences. There's always fights. You know what I mean? Like,
or I guess maybe in the punk scene it was more. Maybe the signs are more necessary because of the skinheads.
highly doubtful.
Really?
It's probably signaling. Once again, okay, is any... Let's say there's a skinhead show that skinheads are actually going to show up to.
Well, number one, they wouldn't book them, probably.
4 skinhead bands playing. Or bands that skinhead...
4 skinheads. Hey, it's racist night down here at 924 Gilman.
Come on down.
Right.
Look, or bands that skinheads listen to. So let's say there's a bunch of dance hall,
right.
or hardcore, you know, whatever it happens to be, right?
Sure.
Let's say that they happen to be playing. Well, the same types of bands are probably going to be touring with each other. They're probably going to have a very similar audience. Okay, let's say the skinheads do show up there.
Probably would mix okay.
Probably, even if there was a bunch of freaking like black dudes with the suits and pork pie hats on skanking. Mm-hmm. Like they'd kind of know, like we're all here.
Hey, this is gonna happen. Don't be a dick.
We're all here for the music.
Right.
Okay, you don't need to have signs up about it.
And here's the other thing too. I think and I've seen mosh pits. I love really violent. I was at, I think the scariest one I've been in is actually Primus, which is weird because I've seen Primus a bunch of times and it's a fun pit.
So like super stoned like dudes and
but
bros.
No, it was we were at Berkeley. We were at the Greek. I think end of June, and it was Mastodon and Primus. Mastodon opened, and Primus was the end, and it was fucking insane. And I was like, all right, this is really violent and fun. But the only time I've ever seen something actually like almost a fight go down was at a festival, Aftershock. I think it was 2016, or maybe 2017. No, I don't remember. Anyway, Aftershock with it was when Tool was headlining, and they were playing, and there was this big black motherfucker and kind of an angry Pantera fan looking guy, and it wasn't because of racist things. The Pantera guy was just looking for a fight from people the whole night, and you could tell, like but
checking
there was nothing
and,
right. There was no racist angle to it. It's just a couple of assholes.
It was like, here's a dude that'll actually fight me who happens to be black.
Right, and
here's how I'm going to get him to fight me.
Yeah, it could have been, but really, like, you could see this Pantera fan looking motherfucker was just kind of pissing everybody off the whole, for the night.
He went there for some beers and a fight. He already had the beers, and now guess what time it is?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just don't like. Why is that less awful than a guy baiting someone into a fight through? Like, I don't like the whole hate crime thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think crime is crime. Like, don't kill people. Don't assault people. Don't keep people out of your business.
If you kill me for
my
wallet
or whatever.
If you kill me for my wallet or for the color of my skin, I really don't care because now I'm dead.
Right. Yeah. Don't fucking treat people shitty. Like, I think we have laws for a reason, and to make it almost like, okay, so
this crime's special,
right?
Because
or like if I kill a child. Which the night is yours.
Actually, please continue.
Right. If I strangle a child to death because I'm an evil kind of child killer,
is that somehow less bad than someone who?
Thank you. If I kill a black kid because he's black, like, I don't understand why that's worse. Like, I don't understand. And it's not just I don't understand because what you need to understand is systematic oppression. Like, no, I'm saying I don't agree. I don't agree that it's worse. I think don't kill people. I think don't start fights in the fucking pit, you fucking child. I think don't hurt people. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's across the board. If we could just
I got to agree.
That.
Fights are not for the pits.
No.
Fights are for before the show or after the show. Okay? Fights are for the best fight I got into was not a fight. It was this chick. She was really hot.
Okay.
And she was like, "Stinky San Jose kids," and like,
how old are you?
Pushed me over. I think I was like
punk
16. Yeah.
Okay, so it's at a punk show.
Yeah, in Richmond, at the Burnt Ramen.
Okay,
right?
I've heard that show.
Yeah,
or I've heard of that one.
I don't know if it's still around, but
Was that the?
That was a great show.
What?
I accidentally split this chick's face open on a concrete bench at that same show.
Jesus, dude.
This other chick. I had no clue who was behind me. By the way, any chicks listening, when you're in the circle pit and nobody can see who you are, don't just punch guys in the back of the head. Because they might just turn around and grab your body and throw it. Because somebody just kept punching me in the back of the head.
Okay, could you tell it was a girl?
I'm in the circle pit. I can't see who's behind me. I'm circling, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just like, we're just dancing around. I just like grabbed whoever and just like swung, like spun. And then like go around to the other side of the pit. Like I circle back around and I look.
She's bloody.
There's this chick sitting there and there's this concrete bench and there's this dude like, oh, are you okay? I was like, like, wasn't me. If you're listening and that was you, I'm sorry. I did not know you were... a drunk chick. It is just somebody punching me in the back of the head. Bad things happen.
I think most of the time people are pretty well behaved in pits, except for hygiene. Except for hygiene, especially metal boys do not like to shower as much apparently before the show. But I think most people are pretty well behaved. The only weird thing I feel about girls in the pits is like you need to understand, like. You need to be... I don't like it very much. And I get it. It's not like you shouldn't be allowed to be in the pit. Be in the pit, baby girl.
Really sexist,
but it's,
Pete.
But no, but like, I'm a big boy, and I'm running full speed.
Don't fuck
like,
up my mosh.
These other... That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't want to pause because you're little. You don't understand what I'm saying? And I've seen some... at the fucking Primus show, there was some thrashy-ass bitches ready to fucking... There's some chicks
I don't want to be in the pit with at all.
And I get it.
I'm running away. I'm like, I'm going to be on that side.
But there are some women who are in the pit almost daring you because of their size. They're like...
they shouldn't be there.
You know, it's almost like a...
they're like 5'3"
when a little kid,
and like 105 pounds.
And I'm not saying that you're little kids, girls. I'm saying when a little kid tells you a joke and you have to just make believe it's funnier.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that similar thing where it's like, oh yeah, you're really in the pit. Like, no, if you were 300 fucking pounds, I would be hitting you with all my might. If you were a dude, I would be hitting you with all my might. And I'm not hitting you with all my might because you have a vagina.
With the punk shows and the thrash shows, it's usually a little different because the pitting style is a lot different, right? And so it's like...
I have no idea.
They can get along a lot better as long as they don't go down. So as long as you don't go down, you're not going to get trampled, right? So you're doing like a big circle pit,
everybody,
right?
Yeah, and everybody... I mean, that's the thing about... If you haven't been in a mosh... It's so nice because you literally run with all your might to knock somebody's ass out, and then as soon as they hit the floor, you immediately grab them and pick them up and say, dust them off and say, "Good, you doing all right? Okay, cool." And and then you try to knock them over again. It's wonderful. It's humanity. It's wonderful.
Here's the people that need to get their ass kicked. The hardcore kids.
What do you mean the hardcore kids?
The karate dancing.
I need to pee in the potty. Do you want to pause this real quick? So
let's pause this.
I'm going to get a Diet Coke as well.
Ooh, right. A Diet Coke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause for pee and Diet Coke. Okay.
Oh,
are we back?
Yeah.
Yes, we're back. Okay.
This is refreshing.
Yeah, it's a Diet Coke.
A little caffeine late at night. A little sweet.
There is nothing prettier than fucking Fiona Apple. Look at that face, dude. Look at that fucking face. I swear to fucking Christ. Oh, did you see it? That one.
Yeah.
She's the prettiest. She's fucking gorgeous.
She's one of those, the crazy scale where you can kind of just...
Yeah, I know, but okay, listen.
There
are some women in your life who it doesn't matter how crazy, like Joni Mitchell, Fiona Apple, Bjork. Do you know, it doesn't matter how crazy they were and or are, like I will love them. Like they will always, I would marry those bitches any day. Especially Fiona. I mean, come on.
Bjork. I mean, I want her to teach me how to paint.
You want Bjork to teach you how to paint?
And I'm guessing she doesn't.
I'm pretty sure she would paint with blood. I will paint with your blood.
Give it to me, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, what the hell were we talking about?
Circle pits, girls in mosh pits. Anyway, I mean, the best part is if you're like really, I'm gonna point this pencil at you.
Okay.
Because I feel like
I respect it.
It gives me authority as a guest, the only guest on tonight's podcast.
Of course, you have authority as tonight's only guest on the podcast. You're my sweet boy.
So look.
What?
in the circle pits,
Uh-huh.
when you wanted to go really crazy,
Uh-huh.
you go to the circle pit backwards. So the
Yeah,
circle pit's
no,
going
motherfuckers-
counterclockwise,
oh my-
right? It's going
yeah.
counterclockwise. And then you got to be like, let's get crazy. Like, you lock arms with somebody, like, you take them hostage.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're going backward. And
Yeah.
everybody's just flying at you. And you're just, like, trying to cut through them. You're, like, ribbing people. You're just like, get out of the way.
weirdest
Until
part
finally you
about-
get knocked over because they get pissed. And they're like, oh, no backwards, no backwards. And, like...
Well, no, see, the Primus one, I think it was probably because it was, and I've been to 4 Primus shows before that one. But that one, like, it was very very camaraderie based. I almost said camaraderie-icious. It was actually, nobody was like mad that anybody was doing anything. It was like, yeah, we're going backwards, fuck it, woo, you know. And they were like, I respect that, as they're flying into you.
Like, we're still gonna...
Right, but it was, I think part of the reason why it was so creepy is because it was so big and it was so thick. And especially the
It's
last
like 5
half,
deep,
the
6
last,
deep.
yeah,
like,
the last, I want to say the last 20 minutes of their set, because they did maybe a half hour of hits, and then all of their new album, and then another 20 minutes of just straight up okay, guys, we're going to give you what you waited through this all of our new stuff. Now we're going to give you what you came for. Here's My Name is Mud, and let's just fucking make each other bloody. And so those last 20 minutes was like, thanks, Primus. It was like it was very violent. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was welted up and shit. Like,
all
I
the
love that shit.
testosterone got depleted.
Yes,
that
all of
last
the
20 minutes.
testosterone. Why is my stepmom and my brother are texting me for
I just airplane moded because I don't get good
No, I know.
reception in here.
You're bad, baby. I'm sorry. I turned it off. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, as far as the 924 Gilman thing, like, I want to, I don't know. I was concerned. I'm obviously.
Can I switch chairs?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you want this big one?
I want that one.
Okay. It's not much higher.
No. I want
Okay.
I want a low ride.
Why don't you do it live on the podcast?
You want me to do it live?
I want you to do it right now.
Okay, keep talking because I can hear you.
This is the song that Jake is switching his chairs. Switch those chairs, Jake.
Switching this
Put my bag over there. Take it off that chair.
What does it smell?
It probably smelling like the dude who normally rents this place. This is the song for Jake. Don't stop talking about the smell of the chair. This is what I'm saying. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly. Jake is now smelling the chair. Put the knife away. Did you just? Are you? This is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Jake is officially using a flashlight to look at the chair.
I keep a small flashlight in my pocket at all times.
You're the worst person in the world. Do you understand that?
Where's the thing?
You trying to make
It's
it
one
go
of those things
lower?
where you pull it out. Yeah, you pull it out. Yeah.
All right, as long as you put it back the way you found it, I don't mind that you change the chair velocity. Would you calm the...
That's cool.
You're the worst person in the world. Now you need to pull it.
Yeah,
There you go.
I got it. I'll push it into my face.
Attaboy.
How's that?
Did you like your gum or no?
I haven't tried it yet because
Oh, okay.
I'm
You
staring
don't want to
at
be
it.
smacking on
Like-
live on the...
I don't want to do that to you, so I'm gonna.
You
chew
still
on it
have
later.
subjected me, first things first, to your awful presence, and then number two, you have now shined a flashlight at a chair.
Look,
So
listen.
it's already too late. If you're worried about content,
Everybody pays the price. Okay,
price for what?
there is a price that you need to pay for the things that you've done. And one of the
Are
ways
you saying you're the black messenger?
I'm the angel of death. Okay,
I knew it.
God has an interesting sense of humor. He's like,
My friend, I told her.
he's like, you like making people put up with shit, huh? Okay,
Yeah.
have you met Jake?
Yeah, it's a motherfucker. Oy vey. How are you doing otherwise?
Things are really good. Something I'm It's easy to complain about stuff.
Sure.
And I like complaining.
I'm aware.
I
So
mean,
do I.
because there's conversation content, right? It's like you run out of shit to talk about. It's like, let's complain about stuff.
No,
like that.
I mean, I don't think we've run out of shit to talk about.
No, not me and you. I just
We're
mean in
very
general.
scattered.
I just mean in general in life, right?
Sure.
Like, I like complaining. It's stuff to talk about. And then by complaining, you're talking about the things that you're dealing with and what you're doing with your time, right? But my strong belief is there's not a lot of huge like success, especially like long term like stuff that you're going to get to, right? Whatever that looks like for you.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Basically, you're not going to get much done without overcoming a lot of challenges, whether that's internal or external.
You mean humanity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or as individuals
Sure.
too in your life.
So you're saying you feel like you're paying the price right now. You're going through.
I'm saying
point.
there's stuff that can be extremely challenging.
Right.
Where you just
So what is it right now?
You just want to say, I can't do this. I want to give up. And the reality is, fine, go ahead and give up.
Right.
You're not gonna get the thing. The
So
thing you've
what
been
is it right
working for,
now? You're
not
working
get.
really hard on what?
It seems like every year, and this gets frustrating because I know it's coming, right? And there's no stopping it, right?
Okay.
But every year in my life for the last, I want to say, I don't know, like 3 to 4 years, 5 years maybe, between the months of specifically August all the way till Halloween on the dot, my life just goes in complete psychosis mode.
Okay.
Personal stuff, work stuff, something goes wrong, everything's a catastrophe, everything's an emergency, and you just have to like pick up all the pieces and get everything done.
Maybe it's the moon. Does your period change?
My period is usually in the last waning quarter of the moon.
Okay.
But we're talking about 3 straight months out of every year. It's definitely not the moon cycle.
Because I would say like a bucket of flush comes out of you. I just want to talk about your flush.
My flush. Well, look, you've seen my flush. I mean,
It looks like a thick marinara. It looks like you went to Subway.
well, I was going to say like a balsamic vinaigrette. Just
No, I was going to say it looked like you put, those chocolate.
it's like a raspberry vinaigrette.
Those Easter eggs. Like, not the ones, not the Cadburys. I'm saying the small Easter ones. They're hard shell. They look like a robin's egg with spots on it. But they're chocolate on the inside. So, I'm saying like that, if you threw a couple of those into a thick Subway marinara, that's what your flow looks like.
Kind of that purplish maroon kind of.
That's right. With the spots especially.
Yeah.
Maybe if you mixed all that together, and then just threw a quick powdered sugar on top. That's what your period blood looks like.
Well, that's okay.
So you go through this. Time.
Every year.
I don't know if I can look back at the last. Maybe this is some sort of. Maybe all of your awful karma or something that happens all in one quarter of the year. What's the problem,
man? This year seemed like maybe it was going to go smoother, and I was like, okay, like maybe work will be a little busy, but it seems like everything's going to be. Nope, hatchet in the hand. 3 weeks out of work.
Yeah, but see, you did that.
I know, but it's just, something's going to happen, right?
Sure.
It just seems like.
What was last year's?
Last year was actually a whole bunch of personal stuff, timing with family, and all kinds of stuff going on.
Right.
That would just happen to coincide with work being really busy. And it was like, why can't all this stuff be going... Ooh, creepy. Why can't all this stuff be going on when I'm not busy? Right? It just seems like it works like that.
Right.
So sure as hell this year, it's like, okay, now you get to get 2 months worth of work done in 1 month. And yes, you have all this other stuff going on in your life too that's non-work related, right? Let's just pack it all in, right? And it's okay. I wasn't dreading it at all. I was like, maybe it'll be better, but I'm sure something's going to happen and it's just going to go crazy and I'm just going to have to hustle extremely hard. And it just seems like that's the pattern. It's like August through October, everything goes insane.
Are you sure that,
literally on November 5th every year, for some reason, November 5th, I'm not even kidding.
Fine.
Everything just, you're done.
Into place.
You're done.
Okay.
Everything's done.
Are you dating anybody right now?
I'm not dating anyone this second. No.
Not even just like casually?
I'm thinking.
If you have to think,
It's usually a no, or that means you don't care enough, and you gotta like really think about it. Like, have I? What is her name? No, I'm just kidding. No.
Right.
No, not right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really want to, but at the same time, there's other stuff.
Well, but it's not November 5th, so
Exactly.
I wouldn't bring
I got no
anybody
time.
else into this.
You don't want to be caught in this whirlwind.
I think you're. See, here's the thing.
Right now,
I keep
my
thinking
life
about,
is a whirlwind of broken glass and
but
dead birds.
You're like Annie Lennox, but
Okay.
I'm like I don't think I think our perception of our experience changes. I think our experiences
yeah.
change, but our perception of our experience always changes.
By a
You
lot,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think like sometimes I get myself caught in ideas like that, and then it's just the idea du jour. Like in a couple of months I'll be thinking about something else.
Yeah, sure thing.
Maybe you're watching out for this pattern, and that's why
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
I just happen to throw a hatchet in my. And like I said, I can't. I don't have control over everything, right? So a lot of times that becomes this year I'm going to make it not happen. It's like that's probably a losing battle, right? You're not going to control the way the chips fall in your life from day to day. You have some control over your own actions. Well, I don't control the way the wind blows, right? So that's probably a losing battle, thinking you're going to prevent something from happening. So I don't obsess over it. But it was just kind of like coming up on the time, I'm like, hey, it's June. I'm like, hey, in about 2 months, my life's probably going to be completely insane, and I'm going to be sleeping 4 hours a night because that's just the way it works every year for 3 months. I go hard, and then I'll have like 4 months where I'm doing nothing. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
When you I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but you had some legal problems back before you got sober, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you went to jail?
I went to jail.
What was the reason for that?
I didn't I'm not saying I'm a hardened convict who did
no one listening to your stupid ass would think that you're fucking Tukey Williams.
No, yeah, I'm not Whitey Bulger or anything. But yeah, I was. I thought it was a brilliant idea to, sell drugs.
Right.
And, yeah, got.
Well,
caught.
why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're an active alcoholic, I don't see. I was talking about this too, like, and I'll say this, but like, when I realized I could go, like, I was never the guy who was gonna start working and then like get my alcohol and drugs through working for it. When I realized I could just go into parking lots,
I couldn't get a job.
Go into parking lots and with my homeless friend Ernie from Salinas, and Mikey, and whatever, and go into parking lots and say, hey, my dad and I just biked in from Santa Cruz. We just we needed a couple of dollars to get a McChicken. Oh, thank you so much. By chance. Oh, thank you so much. You can go into parking lots, ask people for their money.
An expert spanger. We called that spanging.
Spanging?
Spare change. Spanging.
You're the worst person in the world.
I was
it doesn't
an
need a
expert
nickname.
spanger.
It was already called panhandling. That's accurate.
I'm an expert spanger. Okay? And that's why I don't give a lot of people. I don't give a lot of people money that ask because they have shit. They have shit for spanging skills. I'm like, dude, you need to brush up, dude. In my day,
see, you literally
listen
I
here.
Won't,
in my day.
Sometimes I'll give people stuff, but most of the time I don't. Not because I'm heartless, or sometimes it's been because I'm broke, but also because it's been I've been a taker before. Like, I know it, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, just I have a good heart and like, they're asking for, they're homeless, they must be a victim. Like, no, I know a lot of people who, and I've been one of those people who
not a victim.
No, I was absolutely not a victim.
People used to ask me to go spange for them.
That's how good you were at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really good at stealing. I had my own like rules and stuff. Always try to buy something at the same time so that you're less. It's less.
Oh, that should be obvious, right? Yeah.
Don't look at the person at the counter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be stealing butter and cheese. Or whatever.
I just went for the candy and CDs and stuff. I don't know what's
because my dad gave me money to go get that, right?
Nice. How do you steal How do you steal like a loaf of bread though? That's you
No,
gotta have a nice jacket.
Yeah, you gotta be careful
because you're gonna smoosh it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Right.
But yeah, I'd buy like a lighter or something.
Yeah.
And I'd have like
Pixie sticks,
whatever I grabbed that was on the shopping list on me, and then I'd use that money for other things.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
But so you went to prison for officially. I mean, not prison. I'm sorry. You went to jail for selling.
Yeah. I went to jail for a couple drug felonies. Yeah.
No fun.
Yeah.
How long did you spend in there?
That was like a day or two. That was kind of a blur, that one. And then I did some other time that was like furloughed. I did some furlough.
What's furloughed mean? That's like where
basically
you work, right?
you get out and you do other things. Like people can still hold a job, whatever. Basically, you're not such an F up, or you used to be an F up, but you've been doing pretty good, but you broke something, or you messed up. So you got to do some time.
You went out of county or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I did that for, I don't know, 3 months or something, or 2 months or something like that. Yeah.
Was it difficult?
That's where I met someone we know, actually. Was in that furlough. I was hogging the washing machine and the dryer. And he was like, "Look, kid, I've got shit to do, like actual stuff to do. Why are you double drying your clothes?"
We already talked about Seth. Who's the person that we already... Or should we not say the person's name?
Nah, I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But it was someone who was in furlough.
Yeah, and then I met them outside through someone else that we know. And he was like, "This kid, this is the kid you were talking about." And I was like, "Oh, this guy, hey." Yeah. And he's like, he's like right away, right into it. "You hogged the friggin', And he was laughing, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I was kind of a jerk."
I like dirt balls. I like dirt bags. I like people who have some shit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's just because I have it. But like, I don't like. Not I don't like, but like I definitely don't necessarily get along with people who aren't a little dirty.
Yeah. It makes you think you can't trust them.
Yeah.
Or they're judging me. Yeah. I'm actually really comfortable with people that aren't dirty these days. I just don't particularly, not all of them can I particularly.
Share.
Well, or I'll share, but not some of them are super cool. It's the idea is like sometimes I don't know, don't click or have a connection or vibe with them particular. Not all, like I said, but a lot of times I catch that. But I also find myself on the other side of the spectrum too now, where I'm like, dude, like there's some stuff I do, like the dude does not abide, man. Like
no. Let me rephrase it. I'm not saying I enjoy hanging out with people who are actively using it. Of course not. Absolutely not. But like,
I just can't hang anymore. I just can't hang. Even people I know and love that are having things and issues and stuff, and I'm just like, dude, I just can't deal with this shit right now.
Right.
You gotta go walk your own path. You gotta do whatever you gotta do to get where you need to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Why did you start this podcast again? I haven't listened to the first episode yet.
No, I haven't posted it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it this week. I guess I started the podcast for a couple of different reasons, but I really love listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of radio shows like Opie and Anthony. Been listening to them for years.
Yeah.
Jim Norton and Colin Quall, the New York guys. And I listen to a lot of these podcasts, but also the other thing is I was on a podcast for a couple of years as a co-host, and it was kind of much more family friendly. You touching the chair?
Touching the chair.
Touch that chair. But I was on a podcast for a few years, so I knew I could do it. But it also was I was much more of like a character person than I was my actual self. I even listened to tapes or like listen to who I was on the podcast, and I just feel weird about it, because I know I'm pretty full of shit, and I know that like when I want to be, number one, when I can't say shit, or poop or fuck or whatever. You know, I already that's not a great setup for me, but also because I'm an asshole, but also because, you know, I felt myself being this character, and now I kind of wanted to see what it would be like just to be my actual self. The other thing is I like having conversations with weird people who I like, and also the biggest part about it is I want to say about a year and a half ago, I started thinking. Like, I think it started with Milo Yiannopoulos. Like, I was like, okay, you know, that was around about the time he was like, you know, everyone hates Milo, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I got interested. I'm like, all right, let's actually listen to this motherfucker. See what he actually has to say. Because
no such thing as bad publicity.
Anything taboo, I'm like, well, now I got to listen to it. So I started listening to him, and I already was thinking some of this stuff, but I was like, yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't agree with that, but, you know, I get where he's coming from, or I agree with that, but I don't like his approach, you know, like, but I started like kind of opening up to this idea of, okay, maybe
we're breaking the conditioning.
Yeah, maybe I'm not as liberal as I think I am. You know what I mean? Like, I love gays and I want equal rights, but I don't think loving gays and wanting equal rights means that you're a liberal. Like, I don't meet a lot of people, even on the conservative spectrum, who hate gays or don't want women to have equal rights, or even for that matter, don't like black people. You know what I mean? Like, I meet a lot of conservatives who are kind of, or the ones I talk to or listen to or whatever, who are just kind of just want to, like, we don't want to not be allowed to say things. I don't want to feel guilty for being, you know, half white, or for being in America, or for having a dick. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I also want to be able to make funny, stupid jokes if they're fucking jokes. I want context to matter. I don't think just because I'm not all for illegal immigration does that mean I hate fucking Mexicans, because I think that's conflating the two things are pretty shit. It's a pretty shitty thing to say and think. Yeah. But I started realizing, okay, you know, and also I think guns are pretty great. So I'm like, okay, if I like...
Dude, guns are so rad.
If I like gays, and I've done fucking drag. Like, I'm not against fucking gays. Yeah. But I'm like, you know, I'm also, you know, I've even fooled around with a couple of dudes. It's not really my thing, but, you know, sometimes
How much do they pay you?
Between... Actually, I did get paid once. I let a guy suck my dick for $20. I let a guy suck my dick for $20.
Now
so that I could
out. See,
I just got head. Maybe I think it was like 5 or 6 times. One time a guy tried to suck my dick, but I couldn't get hard.
Hey, $20 a pop, that gets you a couple of tanks of gas.
No, I literally, I was sober and everything. Like, I just literally needed money for Camel Lights and gas, and so I had already like experimented by getting some head from some dudes. So I put an ad on Craigslist. Hey, straight guy, needs some money, willing to get head, and that's it. And this guy came over.
Here's the measurements.
He was probably married or something. I don't know. It was a little sketchy. But then again, I'm putting it out on Craigslist to get sucked off for $20.
You're judging him. Yeah,
right. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, he came over and sucked my dick for $20. At the same time, I didn't even get off. I didn't even come. I had to go in the bathroom and jerk off after he left. But anyway, so I don't hate gays, but can I
officially crossed the line where I know I'm not gonna share this link for this podcast with a lot of people, because I know they don't want to hear that shit. There's certain people I'm not gonna be like, hey Dad, here, check out this podcast. He doesn't want to hear this
listen.
Shit.
Just like, tell him to listen to the first half.
He'd be like, I didn't need to hear that shit.
All right, Jesus Christ. I mean,
okay,
this is part of the reason.
I know. Exactly.
So anyway.
So the point was...
The point is, can I just love gay people and also guns? Can I love, you know what I mean? I think I can, and I think most people get it. I think most people
I think there's a lot of gays.
Understand.
I think there's a lot of gays that own guns.
Abso-fucking-lutely, thank you. In fact, the more I've been digging into it, a lot of gays, a lot of Mexicans, and a lot of blacks, and a lot of women do not consider themselves liberals. And the more, and I'm like, oh, like, I'm listening to all these stories, watching all these people, you know what I mean? And they're not fucking Russian bots. They're just people who genuinely, like, want to make stupid jokes or genuinely like just please immigrate here. Just do it. Get in line around behind other people. Don't fucking cut. Like, don't cut and then take like my taxes.
Or can you just wait like 5 years and see how this next economic crash goes? Can we just see if there's
the guy I had
if we still got it?
Right, the guy I had on the podcast last week is a dual citizen from Canada. You know what I mean? And he's he's Chinese descent. You know what I mean? Like he's not a fucking white man. You know what I mean? Like he's not a but he has some not so liberal ideas about immigration. You know what I mean? And it's good to find people who kind of blur the lines. And I've always been a guy who likes...
the Asians do not fuck around in their own countries, dude. They are not all about it. Like they're like,
and not just that,
get out.
But here's the thing. Let's break one of these things down, because I don't think we should talk for a whole another hour. But I think one of these things is
we can. I'm good. You can edit, whatever.
Fuck that. I'm too lazy. I want to record the podcast. I don't want to listen to the whole thing again.
Here, you guys listen to this.
Hey
shit.
guys,
I don't
let me listen to my own fucking thoughts. I already do that all day long. One of the things is, I don't think all racism is that bad. Here's an example. I was an Uber driver for about a year, and my experiences, again, my perception of my experience could change, but my perception is most of the time when someone in front of me is doing something stupid in a car,
it's an Asian female
or an Asian dude, or it's from my experience, it's Middle Eastern or Asian dude. Now, does that mean I don't want them to vote? No. Fucking please vote. Does that mean I don't want them here? No, come here. Does that mean I think they're less people? No. But why can't I prejudge? Why is that such a bad fucking thing?
Driving with the headlights off 8 times out of 10 Indian.
I don't spend as much time in the East Bay. I don't know.
Dude, I'm driving all day. That's what I do. You drove all day for a while. You got a taste of it. I've been driving all day for years.
Yeah, okay, so our experience can do... So why is it so bad to just be like... Because sometimes if I'm in a bad mood and I'm behind somebody,
I can tell the race. Oh shit! I can tell the race of somebody living in an apartment by the smell of the laundry.
Absolutely.
By the smell of the laundry.
Mexican laundry smells very specific.
It's fabuloso.
Exactly.
Okay.
But does that mean I want them to not come here? No, come here. Does that mean I don't want that, or I think they're less? No. But why am I not allowed to judge you?
I can tell what kind of music you listen to.
Right.
By what kind of wheels you have on your car. Period. Bottom line. End of story. Okay. I can definitely tell if it's that alligator skin print like kind
what
of
in the
wheels.
Fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, alligator skin print wheels. Yeah, it's like chrome, but like the shape, like you don't want like the surface. It's like a modeled surface that looks like gator skin or like snake skin.
No,
that's some straight up frickin' ranchero Mexican shit, dude. Oh. Yeah, like definitely Mexican. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean,
so how come I can't judge and be like, that's a Mexican's SUV?
Right.
It's like you're
or
racist.
Even why can't I just make fun of you?
How come a white guy wouldn't have snakeskin wheels? It's like because he just wouldn't. It's
and why can't I make fun of you?
It's just different.
And not just that, I've actually been to fucking China. I went to Shenyang, China, and them motherfuckers do not drive good. There are lines on the road, and those are suggestions at best.
They're guidelines.
Everybody's get it's fucking it's. I was gonna say it's.
They're not rules. They're guidelines.
I like it. It's dog eat dog or chink eat dog. It's it's dog eat dog. Everybody's on the road fighting. Fuck a line, fuck a sign, fuck a red light.
I go now.
Honk at each other and fucking fight in there to get like.
I go now.
It was fucking insane. Does that mean that I don't want them to
you
drive?
Go, I break.
No, there's no different. I don't think I should have like more license or less line.
That's
license.
where I'm going to cut you off. And say, yes,
no.
There should be some more stringent testing.
No. I think there should be. I think there should be better. Whatever.
Look, we can make driving camps where they go to a
Jesus
camp.
Christ.
Okay, and they're separated so they can just focus on the skill of their driving.
But you understand what I'm saying?
We can segregate them. We can segregate them into camps.
You're not doing my point much.
And teach them how to drive. Okay. I have solutions. The final solution.
I would never vote for you. I heard you. Yes, final solution. All I'm saying is, I think it's okay. Like, I don't think all racism is that bad. And plus, I think,
here's the biggest problem with it, and I know this sounds stupid, right? Like a really childish, like, what about a double standard?
Right.
But the fact that there's so much stuff that can't go both ways, that's
totally.
just retarded.
Right.
It's like, okay, so you could dish it out, but you can't take it.
Right.
Like you're gonna be a little bitch if
and I'm gonna disagree with this.
If I make a black joke, like you're gonna be a little bitch, like, oh my god, the brown shirts are coming. This is so serious.
Real ass. No, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna disagree, and I'm gonna make one little adjustment. Black people can take a black joke, like real ass motherfuckers.
Yes, they can.
Will rag on each other.
But the white lady that heard you will not let you make the black joke.
Yes,
okay?
And most of the time, I was talking with Sheldon about this. The
thought.
It's
police.
mostly women. Mostly,
and
it's women or men who are effeminate,
and that's yes, and that's where I'm gonna slightly disagree with the whole like even the idea of like I've gone so far offline and off kilter on the politics, philosophy, theology, society, just everything. Like even just the idea of voting just sounds gay to me. Like I'm just like vote like
yeah. I remember we talked about this.
You're gonna
a couple
vote.
Months ago.
We're gonna vote on it. Really, that's how all the great things in the world were accomplished. It was put up for a vote, right? There was a commission, people gave input. No, individuals through the force of their will accomplished great things. Okay? The technology that we're talking on right now was not put up to commission.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was not asked for any, there was no input requested.
Yeah. I can agree with that, and like I can put it in a different way. Like I had I've heard it put this way, but like everybody knows that the DMV is a horrible experience, right? So imagine the DMV trying to build a phone. Yaron Brooks, the economist, he says like this was made by a company. A company did this, not a fucking
and there's
bureaucratic.
No voting in the company. You do what the fuck you're told.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get that.
You see, so when it doesn't speak to our emotions and our ideas about equality and rights and all of these things, but at the end of the day, this whole idea of everybody arguing with each other about their little pet ideas and their little emotions and what triggers them and well, this is really important to me and I wish the world could be like this. It really just leads people to being easily manipulated.
Right. And I don't mind if like, because there are a lot of things, conservatives I don't necessarily agree with. I don't know where I stand on some things. And
conservatives are some of the most fooled of all, is my opinion, and I consider myself pretty right wing. When it comes down to it, when you get down to brass tacks, like I'm so far right wing, people think I'm left.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're like, "Wow, you're like a diehard commie."
That's
I'm
actually
like, no,
that is
not
exactly what Sheldon talked about last week. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, people think I'm pretty left, and it's like, no, I'm not left at all. But yeah, a lot of conservatives have been duped into basically believing in things that are like really.
Well, but even our definitions are what's fucked. So like as an example, you just said, and I'm not left at all. But like some people would consider you not hating gay people as left. But like,
who said I didn't hate gay people?
Exactly. That's right.
As a group, I'm not a fan. As individuals,
really.
As a group, yeah, it's like, dude. Okay, here's the thing. As individuals, I know tons of gay people. Look, okay.
Wait, does that mean you don't want them to? Are you really? You don't like gays all that much?
No. Here's the thing: is the constant clamoring. Okay.
Right. Okay, I see. But that's more of a problem with the behavior, not necessarily, or with the behavior at that level, not with them actually.
I'm going to break this down. Okay, you got to remove the sensitivities from this, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're going to talk about like whatever, yeah. Okay, I had an idea to like sort this out.
Sure.
The whole like gays being like, well, you need to listen to us because we need this. And it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do.
Wait. Explain what is it.
Okay, specifically politically, there's like the gay mafia, right? Like, you don't... Dude,
okay, yeah, there are constituents who do not like to fuck people of the same sex who are...
No, you do not mess with... They will make a noise. It will be in the paper. Right. Like, yeah, you cannot like Thai food. No big deal. You don't like a restaurant ran by gays? Watch out! It's because you're a homophobe. I mean, like it's gotten so sensitive. Okay,
I see what you mean. Yeah, but that's
so sensitive. We've gone from the point of you're being exiled from the community or like put to death or whatever for sodomy, to being like you've more or less got special, at least emotional privileges, and nobody will ever say anything bad
but that's
about you ever
I
in a
agree
matter
with
of
you.
like decades.
And
it's
I'm
like,
on
whoa,
board
whoa,
with
whoa,
that.
Whoa, whoa. Okay,
and
so
I'm on
here's-
board with that, but I'm not saying. But I don't think that's a problem with actually gays. I'm saying that's a problem with the behavior of the current
Here's what I mean. I
gay
think I'll bring-
umbrella, the gay umbrella.
There you go. And I do think they are being very well taken advantage of in some aspects by people who have their own political ideas and use them as a.
I'm on board with that.
What's the right word for it? Not a wedge. You use them as a bludgeon, as a. My brain's a little delirious right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay. Here's a way I can go with this. Okay. When something you do as part of your personal life becomes your entire identity.
Yeah.
There's something. Do you see? Like it's not a community of people like we're into Japanese cars, and it's like a big part of my life, right? And like we meet up, and we race Japanese cars, and we.
Obviously,
drift.
I'm on board. Okay, all right, right on. I'm following you.
That's not their entire identity. Okay, because they do that activity, right? Same thing with like heterosexual people. It's not their entire identity. It seems like with the LGBT community, it becomes the entire worldview. A lot of times, is dominated.
I think that's true, but I don't think that's a problem specifically with gays. I think that's a problem with everybody these days.
It really can be. There's a lot of division. But here's what I was going to get to. Okay, sure. I've got a solution to this because honestly, when it comes to politics, I really don't want to care. I don't care what any gay person thinks about politics, and it's not because of it when it has anything to do with them as a gay as a lesbian. The second they say that, I'm not listening anymore.
I see what you mean.
Okay,
yeah, but the way you phrased it, you gotta. But this is what I'm saying. In order to,
here's the thing. Just let me finish this.
Rock and roll.
So I've got an idea to sort this out. Where it seems like the LGBT community thinks they have such a knack for running things, right? Like we know what the policies need to be to change this society, and if you listen to us, things would be better. I'm like, okay, we're gonna make Gay Island. You guys are so good at running a society. No, you're so good at running a society.
I disagree.
Listen,
all right, finish your thing. But I'm saying the whole premise.
Let's see the span of time, how long a society will last that is just made up of you brilliant, astonishingly stylish, very tasteful cooks. I will give you that. Let's see how long your society lasts.
Sure.
Just made up of LGBT people.
Okay.
Let's get you. Let's make it just yours. You have your whole world. You make all the laws. You make all the rules. It's just you guys. You run it however you want. And I'm giving it a maximum of 75 years.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, reproduction.
Sure.
Right? It's going to be very low. All right. Second of all, there's a lot of health issues in the community. Okay. It's true.
Okay.
It's slightly higher proportion, not just them,
but
it is. It's there in higher numbers than other communities.
For sure, and I'm on board with all this.
Okay, the health costs would be out of control.
But I think that's a small amount of people.
It is a small amount of people.
It's the very vocal
that make a huge
small
noise,
ass fucking
okay?
minority. But
so
if that's the case,
here's what I'm driving at with that. So if your society, like I said, I'm gonna bet. If I had to bet, I mean, I'd go short on it, heavy. Like I'd short it like 100x.
Okay.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm shorting Gay Island, like heavy. Like I think it's going down.
Which I think would probably be the first time that sentence has ever been said.
I am going short. I'm going short on Gay Island. If I could bet on Gay Island as an economy, right, like a currency pair, it'd be like GAY versus /USD. I'd be like, going short, right? Because it's going down, right? Like I'm putting a bunch of lots on, hella leverage. I'm shorting the hell out of Gay Island because I know as a reality, as a fact, it's not going to survive.
Okay,
they're not going to live.
But are you thinking of this?
They're going to die. They're going to languish. They will not. They will not exist in a few years.
And what's the reason why?
They are not going to push anything into the future.
Because
they're not going to reproduce.
Okay.
They have no stake in the future. All they have.
All right, so the skin in the game.
The skin in the game is null. Okay. So they can shout off whatever they want with their mouths about how they know how to run a society, how they know how to raise children, how they know how to educate people, how they know how to allocate generational money, how they know how to allocate tax money. They can run their mouths all they want about this. The reality is they will not be here.
Right, but I feel like the anger that you have, which may be valid, towards that is misguided only in this way. I think it's a small amount of people, and we don't need to extrapolate the point that far.
You don't, but sometimes you do. to drive the point home that why would you listen to them more? Like their opinion matters more.
I agree.
It has more weight.
Right.
No. My point is it has less weight.
Right. And exactly like I was saying at the beginning of that idea is that you don't have a problem with the actual gay with a dick in a butt. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to see it.
But, liar. But anyway, no, okay. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem. As an example, here's on a more palatable, realistic level. Not that Gay Island is not realistic. I mean, Fire Island is
completely unrealistic. It's just to make
I'm
a
saying
point.
the idea of, right. But here's what I'm saying. I'm on board with gay marriage, but I don't think a cake shop should be forced to make a cake for the. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
but I'm
absolutely.
in for fucking gay marriage. I have a very close family member who is super lesbian, and I want them to be able to get married, but that doesn't mean
I want to go into
I want to force the cake shop to make the fucking cake.
I want to go into the lesbian ran cake shop, you know, with the frickin', you know, like the really dykey one, right?
Right.
Like, you know, like totally unambiguously like hard left, super dykey one, right?
With a Muslim Muslim request.
No, they'd probably love that. They'd be all about that.
Not a realistically Muslim one.
I'd like to
a
go in there and
realistically
have
Muslim
them make
one.
a Christian wedding cake that has like verses about you know, between a man and a woman only, or you know, like we're having a, you know, one of our gay friends in our church is repenting of sodomy, and you know, like they're putting that behind them, and they're following Jesus now, and we want to get these anti-sodomy verses from the Bible put on this cake.
I think when it
And
boils down to
we want
it,
you to make this cake for our party, for our friends that's repenting of homosexuality.
I think when it boils
Do
down
you
to
think
it,
they would make that cake?
I think
Would they? Honestly, would they
Of course
make?
not.
Of
I think
course not.
when it boils down to it, any identity, it gets a problem. You know what I mean? It becomes when your identity is a big fucking deal. My identity, and maybe this is because I'm mixed. Maybe this is because I've got, you know, I've done a couple of gay things. You know, maybe this is because, you know, whatever. But like it has to be bigger than identity, because I know black people. Like if you, you know, I was talking about this with Sheldon last week. But like if you think, like as an example, sometimes people say, well, you shouldn't be allowed to make decisions, or you shouldn't be able to talk about race in America unless you're black, right?
Why?
Right. But you've heard that, right? Yes or no? You've heard that, right?
Yeah, it's a way of shutting people up and controlling
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
I am 3/16 black. So does that mean I can talk about it 3/16 of the time?
Minimum.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand what I'm saying?
Well, that 3/16, I'm guessing, would get you 9/16. It should get you closer more than 50%.
Well, that's it just the logic. If we follow the logic, it doesn't make any sense.
Only 13% of the population can talk about race. Then.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. When they complain about like, and by the way, black people,
but what
it's
about
not
the
as much as the
majority?
white.
I thought it was all about what the majority wanted.
If we really go down to like sometimes women are talking about, you know, women and emasculated men are talking about how. Women are not represented enough in these things. Okay, so then let's go even Stevens, right? Just like a little boy and little kids.
I don't know.
Let's go even
apply,
Stevens.
Go apply
if
for
that
the
means
job.
right, but if that means let's go even Stevens, then only 14% of whatever the field is should be black, right? Because that's even Stevens, right?
No. If you only have 1 out of 10,
right? Exactly.
at your company that's black, I mean, you're not diverse enough, right?
Right.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, that type of stuff. But again, it goes back to that does not mean that I don't want, you know, gays to not get married. It doesn't mean that I don't want Asians in the country or Asians to drive if I don't think Asians are very good at it. Like, I think it boils down to this. You need to take yourselves with a grain of salt and laugh at yourself. And when you cannot laugh at yourself, you can't have real conversations. You can't have a real life if you can't laugh at yourself. If there's a sacred cow in your identity, or this is sacred, fuck you. Like everybody gets it. Everybody, and I think that's so much more in the East Coast, because in the East Coast, people rag on each other, especially men. We rag on each other. You make a joke about blacks being poor to your black friend, and he makes fun of your stupid looking head or your whiteness or your whatever, fucking white devil. You know what I mean? You rag on each other so that when it comes down to it, like, you understand, hey, this is just a joke. Context makes more sense. And over here on the West Coast, where we're all making believe that we're just nice, context gets completely fucking destroyed. And it's sad.
Absolutely.
And it's not okay, because I do think blacks can handle a joke. I do think Asians can handle me saying you're a fucking shit-ass driver. Does that mean I don't want to come over your house to eat Bo Peace? No, motherfucker, I love Bo Peace. Let me have some fucking,
Are you sure you don't want me to drive?
I don't want you. Sure? I don't want your ass to drive, for sure. Creepy ass motherfucker.
No, I understand exactly what you're driving at. Is people are absolutely so sensitive. It's almost like their entire perspective's thrown off, and that's why I think it's hard for me to blame them, because I feel like we are in a situation where everyone's being conditioned to be like that.
Yeah,
the issue is being forced. It's not happening naturally.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've if you talk to like old people, like you could say they're shit, or what do they know because they're old. Right. It's like, well, actually, like, they were fucking there, right? So if you talk to them, it's interesting how they'll say, in a lot of ways, especially with the racism thing, like, things are better.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, they're not.
Yeah.
So they say, like, yeah, like, the rights are better, etc., but the actual, quality of life for both parties are not doing as well, and the race relations have gone down. So people are more... It's almost like even more segregated in a way.
Well, definitely not. I don't know what you mean by that.
Exactly.
But, okay, so like as an example. All right, so I've heard this from people before, is that what they did, the system or whatever you want to call it, if we want to have ultimate control, we have to make sure that people feel like
okay, let's put it this way. What I mean by that is, what they mean from their perspective is, there weren't any Nazi rallies or BLM rallies back in the day. Like, right. It was just...
There were definitely KKK rallies. There were definitely...
Yeah. Not a high percentage of the population, though.
I don't think it's a high percentage now.
It's a very low percentage now.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly FBI agents now.
What are you talking about? God damn, sometimes you come at a fucking left field.
I thought I heard that the KKK is basically just a bunch of FBI informants snitching on each other that don't know they're FBI informants.
That's funny. That would be funny. But but that even includes, like, okay, that whole idea of like, race relations have gotten worse since the Trump. No, we just see more about it, and not just that, but the news companies who make money off of your views and your clicks need you to view and click, and the way to get that happening is to report.
Is the people like, if I were to say that right now, I'd be like, but some people would say, and they'd say that's just on the surface because they were never really good. And I'd go, okay, I can respect that. Like, now we're having a conversation, right? Not things are infinitely better because some law was written on a piece of paper.
Right.
And it's like, why was the last law written on the piece of paper? What was the problem there?
Right.
Okay, like, what's the real heart of the issue?
Okay. But I mean, but I also think, it's kind of... I think it goes to that...
When someone says that's like, super anti-Trump or whatever, and they're like, America was never great, I'm like, okay, now we're having a conversation. I actually kind of dig that. I'm like, okay, now we're talking about something.
Yeah, right? And listen, as far as the America was never great, okay, all right, yeah. But I also get that you kind of have to boil shit down a little bit and make it catchy in order to,
of course,
and of course, I'm not a huge Trump fan, but I also think that, like, I mean, you have to get voted in, motherfucker. You can't have a tagline that's nuanced. You need to have it catchy. It's a fucking tagline.
It can't be subtle.
Right. My logo is a fucking paragraph. Like, no, you can't do that. You just have to have a fucking hope, change, make America great. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be a little bit, kind of like rallying point.
He did all the opposite stuff everybody said to do in political whatever you'd call it, right? He did all the opposite stuff. He did it all wrong. He was loud. He was obnoxious. He was non-subtle. And he was extremely divisive.
Right.
And he won the Electoral College by a landslide that hasn't been happened in a very, very long time. Right. It's just interesting where it's like, he was like, nah, I'm going to do it this way. Watch this. Right. And that was the funniest thing about the whole thing.
Here's what I actually ultimately feel about Trump. I think he's childish. I think he's emotionally immature. But I don't think
he's like, oh, you got a lot of money? Watch, I'm going to win by calling Mexicans rapists. Check this out.
Right,
Hold my beer, bro.
But I don't think it's. I think there's enough people in between him and actual damage that can take his wild energy of being fucking childish or whatever, or when he's not. Like, if we could just take his fucking Twitter away. Like, if when he's not doing that, like, if we could just, there are enough people in the cabin or whatever the fuck you want to call it who can kind of corral him in a direction that makes sense. Now, I know, I'm not saying I agree with those directions all the time, but I am saying, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that...
I'm pretty sure everything he does is what people don't catch on to. Like, they think he's an idiot and childish.
You think it's calculated?
I think it's 100% calculated. Because of the reaction, right? So you got to think action...
he backtracked. What was that thing
of course he did.
A few weeks ago with the Russian thing? With the Putin meeting or whatever?
I don't even keep track anymore, but I guarantee you whatever the first thing he said was, unless he made like some slip up, like, I'm sorry, like people say like the wrong word sometimes where it's like, you know,
yeah, that's true.
If you're like, I want extra mayonnaise, and then you get the burger, you're like, fuck, I hate mayonnaise, I meant no mayonnaise. Like, it happens, right? Yeah. But everything that guy does, you have to watch the reaction. So if you say,
yeah, he's very good at that.
If you say, oh, well, he's childish, it's like, well, look what he just accomplished. He just got these people.
No, and again, as far as what he's accomplishing, I like.
No, I don't mean the actual work. I'm saying what he's getting his opposition to do.
I see.
He's controlling them.
By being a divisive asshole.
Yes.
By being childish.
He makes them look insane. You just turn on the TV and it's like, Donald Trump signed this bill.
Yeah.
And it's got less of a budget for sidewalks, the concrete for our children's schools. America is over. Like they're going insane.
How do we
They're losing their mind.
Here's what's weird too, and you're not on social media, but
no.
How do we grab people and save them from that shit? Like, how do we pull people back from...
You make fun of them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I know people, like, I haven't come out with the name of this podcast yet, and I guarantee I'm gonna lose some friends who won't even listen. And not that they're friends, but like, I guarantee I'm gonna lose some friends,
some social circle.
Yeah. I might lose gigs over it. I might, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is from people who I guarantee probably won't even listen to one fucking episode. You know what I mean? Who barely know me anyway. I'm not toting the line, and I haven't been towing the line, outwardly, but I've been kind of quiet on political shit because I feel like it's childish as fuck. Number one, to post about political shit. Number two, I do it once a week on Controversial Opinion Wednesday. I'll post something on Instagram, and number three, because even when I do that, I think about it, and I write it, and I edit it, and I write it, and I delete it, and I let it sit for an hour even when I think I'm done, and then I rewrite it or edit this, and I need to add in a smiley face to make sure they know, like, I'm not that mad, or like maybe I'm less mad now than I was an hour ago.
Glad you're not running Trump's Twitter account. Jeez,
right.
Dude.
But I do this stuff. And number four...
By the time you're done, it's just like, good morning.
Right. No, but I want to make sure... do you remember
I actually like cold weather sometimes. Controversial Wednesday.
Right. Do you remember the stuff going on with Nia Wilson?
Who's that?
Nia Wilson is the girl who was stabbed. Her and her sister were stabbed, and Nia actually died. And Bart last week... I want to say it was 2 weeks ago.
I keep up with local news like...
Nothing. Right. So she was stabbed.
By who?
Two black girls, and it was a white guy. Okay. So they immediately on Facebook,
were
Instagram,
they like trying to
Twitter,
like punk him and like slap him and take his weed or what?
No. And even if they had been doing that, obviously no one deserves.
Like, I'm sorry.
No one deserves to be stabbed in the neck until they die.
It's like, dude, you were trying to fucking give me a right cross. Like you were trying to knock me out. Yeah.
There are some black women who are awful people. Yes. But. These girls didn't even do anything. It was just some psychopathic motherfucker.
He flipped his shit.
Decided to but immediately.
Did it have anything to do with them even being black?
No, nobody knows. They got the guy a couple of days afterwards.
Okay,
but nobody knows.
So has this become an epidemic? Like, are there lots
That's
of
what
white
they think.
guys?
That's what they think.
Stabbing.
That's what they think.
Random black girls to death on the BART train. Like,
and I talked about this. I posted about it, but it took me like a day of like kind of like
I'm pretty sure like
rewriting and rewriting and rewriting.
Yeah.
Here's what people were doing. Was saying there was a hate crime. I even saw this fucking one star, like a star. This person who obviously they mean well. If this is really a hate crime, obviously that's, again, we already talked about that. It's a shitty thing to categorize. But
so
okay,
if they were white,
even
if there were white girls that got stabbed to death, it'd be a little less bad, right?
we wouldn't fucking hear about it.
It wouldn't be on the news,
right? Because their life is less valuable or something.
100% less valuable.
But even
that's less,
okay,
that's
but
less
even
reproductive organs to create more white people. Don't you understand? I mean,
but
that's
like
the
even if
end
it
game,
even
right?
if it didn't, so like ultimately,
some white people died. Fuck them.
right? And the bottom line is, and I posted about this. Where I'm gonna find it right now. I said, it's kind of gross and selfish the way a lot of you have been judging Nia Wilson's tragic murder as racially motivated so quickly and stubbornly. Seems like we've rushed to judgment based solely on the races of those involved, then posted it all over social media. I think doing so created and spread confusion, disharmony, and fear, not quote-unquote truth and justice. Because a lot of you motherfuckers said it's truth and justice. You cunts, you fucking awful cunts. Anyway, Daryl Allums, Nia's godfather, called on the black community to wait for the answers before reacting to speculation about whether or not the attack was motivated by hate. BART Police Chief Carlos Rojas, neither one of those people, white, said police just don't know whether the attack was racially motivated, and those two pieces were from an article in Essence magazine the day after it happened. And I went on and on a little bit about it, but there were two other murders like in the 5 days before that murder. One of them was a black guy who hit a homeless man. I don't know the race of the homeless man, but hit a homeless man, and then that homeless man died later on due to complications. Does that mean there's an epidemic, because of the Trump administration? Like, no, it's just horrible people do crazy shit. Like, that's just...
Or if it's like... There's suddenly, after Trump got elected, an epidemic of black youths jumping people on their way to work on the BART train, and it's like... Dude, that shit's been going on for like 40 years. Like,
yeah.
It's not has nothing to do with the Trump administration.
I was in a Safeway parking lot,
gangsters
having a fight with an ex-girlfriend. By the way, not like a mean fight, but like where that type of conversation. You're both in the car way longer than you need to be. That kind of conversation where you're
the
like,
the reason I like 2% milk. Listen, stop. The reason I like 2%,
but
milk
where there's
is
just
the
like
texture.
this is an uncomfortable conversation. I want to be anywhere but here, and it was at the Safeway on up in Little Italy area. Anyway, and there was a bunch of black teens, all like fucking like literally 25, 35, all walking into Safeway. I'm like, God damn it, because I know what this is. Yeah. A bunch of black teens walking into a Safeway so that 2 or 3 of them can steal booze, and that but there's a bunch of distractions, it's just a fucking gang theft thing, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen with white kids. It just doesn't fucking happen. Not in the Bay Area anyway. A gaggle of white kids, white
There's not
teens,
enough white
go walking.
teens to make 35. Sorry, they're just not around.
But like but you understand what I'm saying? Like I think these issues are a lot more nuanced, and I don't know why I started talking about Nia Wilson, but I just. Over and over on social media.
I didn't have
whatever.
Like a line on it.
On social media, I just think it's I'm probably going to lose people, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's all right. And at the same time,
if you're going to lose friends because they're hyperventilating over looking the right way on social media, well, I've got to unfriend you, or I'm going to lose all my followers, because it's like that's where the whole thought control comes in. Right. It's like you gotta have the.
I just wish people were smarter.
You're not allowed to think anymore.
Right. I wish people were smarter.
I
was talking with somebody about that, and I was like, because I am half Puerto Rican, whatever, and I wanted that. I mean, it's so much easier to just have an opinion, and then say, yeah, but I'm half Puerto Rican. So it has to be valid. You know what I mean? But like, my family member was like, no, you need to just talk about your fucking, from a logical standpoint, why you believe the things you believe. And it's like, fuck, I don't want to. I don't want to have nuanced conversation. Like, I want to just have my trump card of, yeah, but I'm half Puerto Rican. Yeah, I have a family member who's gay. Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
I can't. You know what I mean? Not I can't, but like, you know, it's come up obviously in conversation.
It's like
but like
completely shitty and dishonest, though.
right, I
So-
have to come from a place of what I believe is what I believe, and I think that feeling that I have of fuck, I don't want to do that. It's so hard, and I don't have enough time. That's part of the reason, to go back to your question from 3 hours ago, or whatever, was part of the reason why I started this podcast is because I can't put all of my opinions in one post. It is nuanced, and I do want to have it. This long form
It is
conversation
nuanced.
type is the only way to have this come out that I'm not 100% liberal. You know what I mean? It's the only way to have this come out.
Where would you say? Are you saying you're maybe like 62% liberal?
I'm more. I would say I'm now that I know what an actual
48.
conservative is. I would say I'm more conservative than I am liberal because
So
I
maybe-
just
you're
I
maybe-
just
maybe
assumed
you're only like 41% liberal.
I just assumed, like most people who are going to unfriend me or whatever over this, over just the
41% liberal. So you got to move to like what is that, like Fresno, right? Like you gotta- I'm just kidding.
fucking worse than the East Bay. But like, you know, I had assumed for a long time that conservative meant something that it doesn't. That definition thing. I had assumed all conservatives dislike Mexicans, or all conservatives dislike gays, or all conservatives dislike this or like this. And it's just not the fucking case. Everybody, and not just that. You know, I went to Oklahoma last year, and there were black kids. You know, there were gay kids. There were, you know, everything was fine.
You mean they hadn't been lynched?
No,
They
everything's
hadn't been
fine.
buried alive?
Right. Everything's fucking okay.
They weren't
and most
being
people,
psychologically
even if
traumatized?
you don't like you said, I don't want to see it, which I think, you know, that's silly.
Well, nobody's doing it in front of me, so what's...
Sure, but I don't even think like. But anyway, but like even people who are like that, like.
Honestly, I don't really want to see anybody doing anything right in front of me. Like, I'll look at what I
No,
want to look at.
I want to see people fucking.
Like
I want to see heterosexual
just
couples
walking
fucking.
in right now while we're doing this.
Absolutely, if they're attractive, absolutely, dude. Free titty is free titty,
What is
dude.
up
Do
with
not.
dude, the ugliest people on nude
saw-
beaches. You know why they got to do that, right?
I don't know,
Because
I've never
nobody's
been to
gonna
a
put
nude
up with
beach.
that shit anywhere else.
But
Okay.
have you ever seen? I was
Nobody
talking
wants
with
to see
Sheldon
that.
about this last week. When you have there was a crazy lady who kind of had like some titty out. I can't remember if she was completely naked or like she was just kind of crazy talking to herself and she had titty fall out.
You're like, oh,
you gotta look at titty, dude. You can't just go, oh, she's crazy, I will avert my eyes. Even if she's fat, you gotta
You're
look
gonna
at.
even if you don't like the way it looks, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? No doubt.
Anyway,
Where else are we going with this? I know we had like a bunch. There was like a bunch of stuff. We just talked about music for like an hour and a half.
yeah, but I was interested in that.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's the thing is that, you know, I don't think this will be the last time that you're on. You know what I mean? I mean, I appreciate you coming up. You know, it's a motherfucker of a haul, and I got you a cookie and some water and a Diet Coke. So
What
you know,
else do you want to talk? We were talking about oil. We were talking about aliens. We were talking about.
man, we talked about all kind. Man, that's.
We didn't get into much.
How
to be
long was
honest.
that
We
no.
mostly bullshitted. For
But
most of
but
this,
but
which
that
is
makes
good.
sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Number one, I'm still figuring out the rhythm of this. You know,
Okay.
I've definitely repeated a story or two.
I think it
from
was
last
good.
week.
I'm just not sure where if there was any other points you wanted to get on or anything you wanted to
No.
ask me or
No.
opinions on anything.
No, and
game.
maybe we'll come at it the next time you're on with more structure. But I think in general, I like not having all that much structure. I like
probably a
having
good thing.
it be more. You know what I mean? Because I would listen to this stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like when I listen to
It's where
Joe
the best
Rogan, when
ones
I listen
are.
to I don't you know. Like I was thinking of doing like segments. I was thinking of doing. Do I have intro music? Nah, not really. I think every once in a while I might share one of my songs. I think every once in a while I might, you know, shout out to like an artist that I really like, or hey, listen to this song from XYZ. But like mostly, I think it's just going to be conversations. You know what I mean? And with people who I find are interesting and. You know, especially people who can kind of handle it. And honestly, there's going to be people who I have on. Like I want to have Sammy Warmhands, who's not conservative really at all. But like, so we might not talk about politics really at all. We mostly might talk about music.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You know, like you and I did. You know what I mean? It'll go a little bit towards a race joke. It might be, you know, more about punk scene versus whatever. You know, I want it to be kind of open like that. You know,
For sure. I like
and
it.
if you're listening at home and you don't like it, start your own. Fuck you. But also, I think this is my second episode. I'm figuring it out. My rhythm might be completely different. A year down the line, or
Well, I like it because it's not forced. I mean, you're not doing a news show, so that's good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the same thing that 50 other podcasts are all talking about all at the same time,
right. And it's impossible for you and I to. Yeah, I was thinking of having it be like live, which I might do at some point, but then also talk about the news story of the, but I'm like,
we could do that.
Yeah, but I'm like,
especially since I don't keep up, it'll all be right off the top of my head. What do you think about Boo? I'll be like, they're lying. That's bull.
Is it just me?
It was
like
the
since
CIA,
I've started
man.
since I've started being more conservative, like I can't help but automatically, and I think that's that evil toxic tribalism as they call it, but I can't help but automatically usually not trust the liberal side of it. You know what I mean? Like
you can't trust the conservative side of it either.
Yeah.
You've got to be extremely and not skeptical in like as in the skeptic movement thing, but I think with any media, I think especially in the last few years or so,
right.
like you just got to be skeptical. I think everyone's got an angle. You've got producers,
but some angles I dig. Some angles, you know what I mean? Like, what
it talks to your, it feeds you what you want to hear. Those itching ears get
But
tickled.
sometimes I'll, if I'm already feeling like, as an example, if I'm already feeling like a know-it-all Jew, I'll listen to some Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel in the mood, I like Ben, dude. I like Ben. He's a bit of a fucking stick up his ass, but like I like Ben. I don't agree with everything he says, but like or Joe Rogan. But sometimes that
I just
want to
give Ben Shapiro a swirly.
A swirl. Aww.
Nothing to do with his politics. I just want to give the guy a swirly.
Yeah,
he's just such a nerd.
But if you need, I mean, it's like Super Friends. You know what I mean? Like if we need a lawyer who's quick, you're gonna grab Shapiro.
Get the yarmulke.
If you need somebody who's more on the left but can handle having conversation, you get Joe Rogan. If you need somebody to just make a evil fucking joke, you know what I mean? Like you'll grab, Patrice O'Neill or Colin Quinn. Like we all have our specific, There's nobody. I don't think anyway. There's nobody who's just a straight up.
Everyone in the room uncomfortable. You call me.
Yeah, especially sexually.
I'll be like Gay Island, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, why? You went off about fucking Gay Island.
Because
I mean, I get what you're saying, but
that's the thing.
Again, but I wanted to make it clear that you were just trying to make a point, not that you actually want gays sequestered.
Nobody ever think. I'd like to see it for a couple years so we could put the conversation to rest. It doesn't have to be permanent.
Yeah, someone said
it doesn't have to be permanent.
What was that?
Because I'm just so sick of hearing it. I'm like, okay,
but I don't think gays make that much. It's the women. The women are the most insufferable ones right now. And I know a lot of great women. I'm
sorry. The second they got the right to vote, the country
Look at
went down the shithole. I'm sorry. Here's the other thing. Okay, let's get controversial for a second. Let's get controversial.
All right, but we got to wrap it up in a minute, for the love of God.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have the right to vote, but maybe they should have more stringent tests before they can.
More stringent
than kidding.
You don't know a lot of dumb dudes? Come on, stop.
Yeah. But they'll at least be like, bro, football, whatever. Like here's the thing. They will probably not vote emotionally. Okay? They will be less easily manipulated. You can draw a graph, okay?
I don't know if I agree with that, but I do agree. I understand the direction you're going.
You can draw a graph, okay, of the national debt and women voting. And they are both just like...
Yeah, but the dudes...
One started and then the other
politicians
happened,
did that stuff. I mean, fucking Truman... Truman was a fucking dude.
They needed the extra votes. So, point being, right?
Yes, sir.
It's like, the more people you can get to vote and argue with each other and divide each other, the more easily you're going to be able to control them.
Here's where I agree with you in one way. When women, as much as I love you, but like when women are much more apt to really strongly feel what they feel until you question them, and then they're like, oh, like, I didn't even see it from that. Like dudes are much more.
Really
I think it's because we're more physical. Like we're like what's that? Patrice O'Neill has said it, but like because we understand that things could turn physical, we have to logically understand where we're coming from and have layers to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If someone questions me,
our chick's
I
gonna
have
get
to have.
Our chick's gonna get drafted to go get frickin' shot by Russians if someone wants to like really push this thing, right? Like, no, dudes are like Russia, yeah, whatever, okay, cool down with the Russia talk, bro. I'm not trying to.
Right, or really, or on a different level, I think, and maybe it's not so much. I don't mean to rag on the girl. Jake did it first,
Go
but like,
ahead and rag
I
on
think
him.
I think the other thing is too is like, that whole following the logic thing makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like, if God damn it, what point? I was gonna make a point. Oh, I'm sure it was really profound. What a dick I am. I'm sorry. Anyway. But see, I think it's good to have this type of podcast where, like, I can honestly say I don't know what I'm talking about around a lot of things. You know what I mean?
Here's where I think
I could be wrong.
I think you'll agree with this, and I think pretty much everybody can agree with this if they'll think about it for 2 seconds. This is not from a political perspective at all. This is just thinking about, let's say you walked into a boardroom, you're at work, and your job is to tell the people in the boardroom what the hell's going on to make things run smoother, right? Mm-hmm. For everybody's sake. Sure. So everybody has a better day and makes more money and doesn't get hurt, right? So we're thinking about safety, we're thinking about money, we're thinking about happiness, right? How can we all get along and get home safely? Mm-hmm. And you walked into a boardroom, right? You got to kind of come at things from that mentality sometimes, and less like, I feel so strongly about this, right? If everybody actually said, what is actually good for the entire organism, I think we'd make much different decisions. Right now, it has nothing to do with what's good for the entire organism.
Yeah.
It's all about what's good for me and my people.
Right.
What's good for the black community.
Which I can understand that
what's
needed
good for
to
the
happen
farmers.
in order for us to realize, or maybe it did anyway.
What's good for the gays? How come we're not getting none?
Right.
You know, and it's.
But you can see that kind of may have been necessary,
women?
right?
What about women's rights? It's like, is that actually benefiting society? Are our children growing up less emotionally damaged? Are families sticking together longer?
Yeah, but you can't pin it on one thing.
No, it's not one thing,
right.
But it's a huge division. Do you see what I mean? It's a huge division.
Yeah,
it's an enormous division
because we're more wrapped up in our identity.
It's everybody's wrapped up in their identity. Nobody will sacrifice and just follow their own fucking role. And no, I did not mean that racially. I mean that in any role. It's like, dude, there's some stuff I'm not skilled at.
Yeah, dancing is one of them.
Actually,
I have not. No,
you've never seen me dance. You've never seen exactly.
I've seen you probably. No, I was gonna make a try.
Joke dancing.
I was gonna get over to a gay joke, but I just couldn't. I just didn't. I don't have the energy. I just couldn't.
Okay, if like there's some stuff I'm not good at. There's other stuff I am, and I'm not going to absolutely insist on having it one way just because I want it that way. You know, sometimes I got to
just so it can be even, Stevens, or to prove a point. I'd rather shut my mouth than
let me do the thing I'm good at, and let this guy do the thing he's good at, and you know,
and have pride in what I am strong at.
Exactly. You're gonna have a really shitty smelling society without good plumbers around.
Yeah.
In the literal sense.
Right.
Okay. And so everybody gets so wrapped up in this idea of whatever the hell they're thinking, and they don't step back and go, all of these things are needed to have a functioning society, and to just give a little bit, and go like, yeah, I've got to be like a really good bus conductor today, or whatever my frickin' job is.
I think it goes back to this, and then we really should shut up. But I think did you ever see the Century of Self, the documentary about ego?
No, it sounds a lot like.
It's pretty cool. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's mostly talking about how ego has been like put at the precipice, you know what I mean? Mostly because companies can sell to us that way, and politicians 100%. Can sell to us that way. But we didn't used to be like that. You know what I mean? Like we it was much more. And when you look at China does really well regarding ego. Yes, they're turning more like, oh, we love this Western blah blah blah, but like. In China, people are happier than shit to just be a cog in the clock. They're just happier than shit to be doing their little job.
Because they're actually useful.
Yeah. They're just, there's pride in their small job, whatever that small job is.
They do
which
it well.
Can be extreme that sucks when it's at the extreme where like, oh, I'm not concerned with, our fucking ruler being a complete piece of shit and harvesting organs or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm just concerned with being the best bus driver. But there is something good to that, you know what I mean? And we've lost that because we've been told that ego is what's going to make us happier, and I don't think that's the case. It's not working out anyway.
We've got a situation where everyone wants to be a king but doesn't want the responsibility.
Yeah, that too.
It's like, look, if you're not going to go down for the crime, you might not want to be the getaway driver. Everybody wants to have a big piece of it and be equal is the idea. We all want to have power.
Yeah, but the definition of equal is changing.
And
it can change wherever.
It is very well changing. Yeah. And here's something else about our society. It's not just the self. It's not just the ego. It's also completely shut off from anyone else. It's every individual vice you can imagine at your fingertips, like that now.
Right.
We have zero sense of waiting for satisfaction anymore. Everything has to be right now. Everything.
Yeah. And there's tremendous value in, working hard for a long time.
Patience, perseverance, dedication, long suffering. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you're not going to accomplish right now. Right. Everybody wants everything right now. It's just
and you and I are two of the worst
people
regarding it.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
It's really tough, man.
Yeah.
That's the society we're in. You want whatever? Hey, pick up your phone. Yeah. Whatever horrible shit you need to do to yourself. Yeah, it's right there. Click the button. Go. Do it.
Well, people already have listening to this. They've turned this shit off.
Long time. Anybody that's still listening to this,
I'm sorry.
Get a life.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake, thank you very much for being on.
Thanks for having me.
I hope y'all have enjoyed this 2-hour and 35-minute episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, even with the break. Or that's not including the break. Anyway, I'm really glad that I hope you guys are enjoying these episodes, and there will be more soon. I'm going to have on a guy who actually is a gay man who recently came out as conservative and lost a bunch of people. Oosh. So I'm going to have him on the show, probably through Skype.
That's rough.
And also I've got planned someone who's recently posted, who's apparently a very liberal guy, but posted something tentatively about men's rights issues and got lambasted online. So I want to have his experience on. Anyway, I will hopefully see you guys again. Share it with your friends, you horrible people.
Good night, all.
Good night.